Yeah. Yeah. Hall of Famer, how did you not know? Championship, about to win a Super Bowl. Fans in the stand, love it when I'm in the dome. Touchdown dance, celebrating cause I'm home. Cleats on my feet, running routes all day. Shotgun, wildcat, I know all the play. Could've been a quarterback, just put me in the game. I was born a champion, and I just want the ring. MVP, I'm the best on the list. You can join the team, cause we headed to the ship. Hey, you looking at a champ. Hey, you looking at a champ. You looking at a champ. You looking at a champ. Hey, all I do is win. All I do is win. You looking at a champ, and we going to the ship. We going to the ship. We going to the ship. Hey, all we do is win. You looking at a champ. You looking at a champ. Hey, all I do is win.
You're looking at a C-H-A-M-P. Every time I do it, make it look easy. Better be prepared when you come for me. Don't talk me to death, you know that stuff cheap. I go hard on the west, I go hard on the east. It don't really matter either way, I'ma eat. You know I do numbers, 1, 2, 3, count on me like work easy. I can do it in my sleep, I do not know defeat. Championship rings on my hand, go bling in games when I please. Good night, R.I.P. Ain't no OT. You are not a champ, boy, you don't wanna be.
You looking at a champ. You looking at a champ. You looking at a champ. Hey, all I do is win. All I do is win. You looking at a champ, and we going to the ship. We going to the ship. We going to the ship. Hey, all we do is win. You looking at a champ. You looking at a champ. Hey, all I do is win.
She wakes up with a smile, holds it for a little while. She knows it's time to let go. The sunlight hits her eyes, the music keeps her love alive. Don't let it go, let it go. And when the lights go down tonight, the music never dies, the music never dies, the music never dies, no, no. Oh, yes, so make it come along. The music never dies, the music never dies, the music never dies, no, no.
Welcome back, everybody. We are here at Lal Park for the last match of the LCK Round 1. And yes, you heard that right. It is the last match indeed, as the LCK is sabotaged by coronavirus, unfortunately. And I'm here with LS, aka LCK Sabotage. So how are you doing today with your gloves? Are they feeling good today? Are they
They're actually
protecting you
feeling
from
good.
the virus?
Well, you know what, Valdez?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Is that what they
yeah,
say?
I just communicated it.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. But yeah, we got one match today. It's going to be a short day. We do not have any break in the middle. It's going to be kind of interesting. I don't know if we've ever really done this before at the LCK. I mean, we've done like
you
best
can
of
have,
fives.
You can have best of fives that end in 3 games. I guess that's
Yeah, I mean
sort
that's
of
about the
same.
closest.
You
it
can
will
have
get.
you can have an SKT versus Griffin finals.
Yeah.
That one
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
might end faster than a 2-0. You know.
Could happen multiple times even. As we're going to take a look at these standings here. Speaking of what's going on at the LCK, Gen G finish off at the top, 8-1. As you see, kind of we're rounding out the results here for round 1. It might be something that you guys may not have paid attention to so far, but the LCK is split into 2 rounds, 2 round robins even, where each team plays every other team once, and then they do it again for the second round. So that's why we have 9 games at the end of today for everybody. The only teams that have to do it so far are KT and Griffin, which will be the match today. We're going to take a look at the points of the match between these 2 teams.
Well, last match of Spring Round 1, the match to decide the standings. Who will laugh the last laps? I like that.
Who laughed the first laugh? Who was the first laugh ever?
Who was the first laugh ever? I'm trying to
Are you trying to get there?
find it, actually.
The first laugh
The first lap was T1.
Yeah, they lapped the first lap of the LCK 2020. And
Griffin lost 4 series in a row. They are 8th
yes.
currently.
And they're going up against a team that has won 3 series in a row, which is KT. So if you're a kind of guy that likes streaks, you might vote for KT in this scenario. So it'll be interesting to see. I feel like Kuro as well is really coming into his own in the mid lane there for KT and becoming a leader, and has really turned things around for that team alongside all of his teammates. As now we're going to take a look at some of the team stats between these two teams. You can see that they have the same win rate with the gold lead at 20, but a gold lead at 20 has come much less often for Griffin.
Yeah, Griffin are pretty consistently behind, it seems. As KDA as well, one of the worst in the league team damage per minute. They are 10th. However, they only deal about 11 less damage a minute than that of KT.
Oh, great. That means that KT must have the lead.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to show off my math skills or anything right there.
I mean, that's impressive for us NA boys. You gotta give us every bone that you can, even if it's just adding 11. As we're gonna take a look at the highlights here in just a moment for the last time these teams did play. But pretty interesting stuff here, I feel like. Even KT, even though they're doing better recently, still have to get some of those numbers up, especially the team damage per minute, I suppose. Pretty good in terms of team gold difference at 20. I mean, they're 4th in the entire LCK, so that includes every other team. Even after they lost the first 5 games, or first 5 matches of their 2020 careers, so pretty interesting stuff to see there from KT.
And Griffin has really just been struggling to find their stride. They have pretty peculiar drafts as well, which some teams in the LCK really do. KT, obviously, they've been on the up and up, which I think is so surprising. And I think that the morale boost that they've been getting in recent weeks have probably been contributing to that. As we take a look at the highlights here, Chovy super flexing Tarzan, but ended up breaking his own neck on that one.
Yeah, I mean, that didn't look like too much of a highlight, but kind of a messy play there. Nice 2-on-1 here out of Iroh teleporting into the top lane.
Let's not mention what the gold deficit was.
No, that's why we hide those numbers for these highlights. Although there are a couple of numbers that tell a bit of the story, 2-0.
Actually performed the best, I think, out of all the Griffin members in their last series.
Yeah, which leads you to, consider, was it Sword popping off, or is just as a whole the team of Griffin kind of falling by the wayside, somewhat dejected so far? Whereas KT are taking the total opposite approach, and they lose 5 games in a row, and they decide, hey guys, we're going to turn our season around. And they've been very proactive, aggressive when it comes to it, and it said down there the power of kingtivity. I'm not sure exactly what they're referring to there, but Sohan, even on the cannon, looked pretty nice, was getting things engaged, and as a team, they're playing really well, but also have to shout out aiming. He's played a bunch of games of Ezreal recently and has looked really impressive in the AD carry role.
And Tempt, this was Tushen. This was the bear.
Yeah, there are a lot of bears in the world, but this one is special. It was the bear, as we got some nice stats here, some good underlines with the red marker. As I was mentioning, aiming is he's really popping off nowadays. He's first in damage percentage, damage at 15, kill participation. The guy is everywhere. He's played a lot of Ezreal, so of course those damage numbers are going to be high. It's a lot of what we saw last year, where Ezreal was even more busted, and he was just getting double the damage sometimes of the next player, but the numbers don't tell the whole story. You got to see his play recently. He's really been popping off up against Viper, who, yeah, he's got some pretty good stats, but as a whole, he hasn't been able to carry his team just yet from the 80 carry
Yeah.
role.
Well, I think that Viper versus aiming is going to be really interesting. Viper is struggling quite a bit, whereas aiming is really the saving grace for KT in so many games that they've been playing. We'll see what champions he'll have the ability to get his hands on today, as they're going to be on the red side. So that should favor KT in the current meta. VR here, seeing that nothing out of the ordinary, still no Naheon. Starting up in top lane, which is always a bit of a head scratcher for me.
Yeah, Sword is going to retain his starting role. Nothing changes there on the side of Griffin. And on the side of KT, it is going to be the lineup you have come to expect. I hope to see more Volibear, some more Ezreal out of aiming. That would absolutely float my boat, as we'll see exactly what they do want to play. Kuro is also another guy that was bringing out the hot LeBlanc, the LeBlanc that was on that massive streak of 9 games in a row. But recently, it did take a couple. It has a couple of losses.
And
We're
remember,
all sad
Valdez,
over here.
this is the last series. So if LeBlanc does retain her 95% pick or ban rate, she will be nerfed. The Riot Bout, no, that's an actual thing.
What?
So during the cast, Atlas
What do you
suggested that I reach out to the balance team
Okay.
and asked if it's per region or can only one region actually cause it to happen. So I got the answer that if LeBlanc does stay at 95% in the LCK, pick or ban status, she will be nerfed. So
But that doesn't make any sense. Like,
no, that's Riot's new policy. If a champion...
yeah, but that policy is bad.
What? Valdez. Who are
I
those
mean,
guys
straight
coming
up.
up the steps?
Straight up. Oh no. Oh no. I was able to wrestle them off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't agree with that at all. But interesting idea for sure. As we are going to get into pick and ban.
Oh.
Oh boy. Well, we don't see Ornn too much anymore. Although we did see a bunch.
Ah, there she is. She's
bunch
banned.
yesterday. Yeah, she's banned again. Oh no.
This is all a cruel ploy to take down Faker. This is what
This
it
is
is.
ridiculous.
All the pro
That's what
players
it
are
is.
in on it. I was actually thinking last night about how abusable this would be if you could just rally all the pro teams behind it. You just get one
The
champion.
collusion.
Yes.
Oh,
you just
man.
get one champion permanently nerfed.
Yeah. This one player on the best team is too good at this, so we have to all band together and just keep banning her. And, yeah, then we'll never
Just
see her
imagine.
again after she gets nerfed.
Like 10 patches in a row, all pro teams just agree to keep banning Teemo. He just keeps getting nerfed.
It keeps getting worse and worse.
All right, Griffin, Jarvan, LeBlanc, Olaf.
They just demote him to an actual ward. They take
Yeah.
the champion out of the game.
Well, let's take a look. Ornn was banned away, Aphelios as well. Senna is left open, and I feel like this is a little ridiculous that she doesn't get first picked. I think that non-farming, or they call it fasting Senna, right?
Yes.
Fasting Senna is probably 0 tier. I think that she's
Yes,
just too
she
strong.
is.
She is.
I mean, just the interaction with her kid. With any champion, as you have pointed out, it's not just Tom Kent's for safety. We saw her with the Volibear, right, where she became the real AD carry, and then we swapped Aatrox into the support role. I mean, it's too strong for sure, and they're gonna wait on picking that support. I suppose we could see Elise support, but it's been a while.
So, Senna is... Now, the reason that I'm calling her 0 tier is because it means that she's basically by herself.
Yeah, it's
Where
like God tier.
Aphelios, right, Aphelios is tier 1 AD carry, MF is tier 1 AD carry, but slightly below Aphelios. And Senna, I think that due to that flexibility and just how she can conduct herself, is really just ahead of the pack. Now, that might be a lethality Varus paired with the Karma. We have seen that be an answer, but Ezreal now coming out, and this is nice. We're seeing a potential evolution, although this is a pivot, which is one of the strengths of Senna,
Yep.
and that she can just go support.
Yeah,
So-
you try to counter her out in the fasting role, and you're like, well, actually, she's playing support and aiming. Surprise, surprise, is going to play Ezreal. I think we probably could have called that one. She's played a lot in recent times. Really racked up the kills.
So now the ban's coming in. Nautilus banned away. They're respecting the fact that the Karma is able to be pivoted and flexed into a different position in order to maybe try to get a better matchup here against the Ezreal Senna. And we'll see what the next ban, the Renekton banned away in isolation against the set. There's so many other problematic champions for the set, but I suppose that they're respecting the Elise is also present there. I don't think that we'll see a Pantheon, but I think it's something that if this were another region, I think we could probably consider in the draft phase to be paired with the Elise. As Aatrox, the Sinners are just getting clapped.
Yeah. No more Sinners here on the board.
Yeah.
No Olaf got taken away the Renekton.
Olaf is the walking Inter
Yeah.
amongst the Saints and Sinners.
Yeah, he has his own little role. As you were talking about Pantheon, we saw Kled there for a second.
Oh.
I feel like Kennen is... Oh, okay. He's actually going to swap to the Gnar. And they're expecting to go up against the set, so he was picking for that matchup. And we've seen this before, this exact matchup, and it really hasn't looked that amazing. So we'll see if... I was actually getting excited for the Kennen pick because we saw even in the highlights, Zoan can play a pretty nice Kennen, but the Gnar just kind of leaves me a little bit disappointed.
Well, Talia now being locked in for Griffin. That could just be the Talia for UCal. Pantheon might appear on the enemy team. And this is really, really strong. This
Talia
is a
Pantheon.
very strong combo. Talia Pantheon sees the Elise Renekton, check raises it,
Yeah.
and that's what's going on here. As it quite literally just does what it does, but better.
Yeah.
Scales a lot better. Now, the Azir coming in, potentially for Kuro, and it will, as a means to try to answer this. Now, the interesting thing is that Talia can go jungle, Pantheon can go mid, or Pantheon goes jungle, Talia goes mid, which would actually be a lot safer against the Azir. And when we're thinking about low economy, the Pantheon would probably function a lot better on low economy against this KT team composition than a Talia would. So we'll see if Griffin ends up actually sending the Talia into mid lane, or maybe they want to keep it in the jungle so that they don't incentivize any magic resistance to be purchased by KT. That way Talia is able to remain more relevant on a lower economy. And that is what is going to be the case, as both coaches now going to walk off stage.
Yeah. I don't know. They're getting a little bit close there. He almost touched him with his hand. I don't know. That's like a violation of our
Yeah, might have to have
of our Corona practices that we have here. You're not supposed to, shake hands or anything like that. But obviously, jokes aside, good friends are the coaches. We'll see which one will come ahead at the end of this one. Interesting to see the Avengers come in here right at the end. The Talia Pantheon, the duo, not in the bottom lane, but returning to the Rift together. And Kuro looking to carry alongside his AD carry, aiming with the Ezreal and the Azir comp. A nice amount of pick with this comp and a decent amount of poke alongside of it. And a couple of champions that Kuro and aiming are really, really comfortable on. So from my stance, I feel like they're feeling pretty good about the way the draft went, as we are going to hop on to the Rift here for the last match, guys, of the LCK. For now, it is being put on hiatus. If you're just joining us now, unfortunately, because of coronavirus, they decided to end it here, or pause it here, I should say, halfway through the spring split.
So the thing going on here is Viper, he has the Comet, and we saw, I believe, Def do this as well. And the thing about Comet is that in mid and late game, you're solely picking it for early game dominance and early game pressure, because in the later stages of the game, he even has the Scorch as well.
Yeah,
so
just
this
to
is
add to it.
solely for lane kingdom. But in the later stages of the game, lethal tempo will end up doing more because it covers more ranges, and it allows Varus more options. Because once champions start having tier 2 boots, unless you have CC going on, Comet's never landing. So the rune almost ends up falling off completely.
Karma has it too.
Double Scorch, double Comet. This is designed to beat up Ezreal and Senna.
Yeah. That's really the concoction they've come up with here. They threw a couple of ingredients together. This is going to be the answer.
The cleanest of leashes, actually. They're not going to actually miss any CS. Nice little dodge right there, coming down into bot lane. I do quite like this Varus skin, by the way. Just want to throw that out there for you, Belvis.
Yeah, you're a fan?
I am a bit of a fan.
Oh, boy.
Okay, level 2.
They're already getting in here. Tucson's dead. And they knew that the invade was coming in. I don't know why Tucson was so far down the lane. But they're going to get caught out there big time. And, well, they're actually going to clear out those minions there. I feel like they could have put out a mini freeze, yeah.
And their whole thing is that they're a poke.
Yeah,
Composition.
you just zone them out from there.
You zone them out and you freeze.
And the game is over in the bottom lane. But instead, they're going to look to push.
You just don't get it, Valdez. They need to push them under the turret so they can poke. Yeah, take a look at this.
He's not seen.
What?
How is he not seen on that ward?
Wait, what?
He wasn't seen. And that's why he was playing so up and so forward. So
Wait.
Initially, I was just like, oh.
Is it a bug?
It was a mistake, but actually,
what?
I don't know. That just looked
that
really
looked like
weird.
it tore the wall.
Yeah, that looks really weird. I don't know. That's
what has
something.
Talia been eating?
I don't know. She's really a lot thinner than we
Whoa.
expected as Tucson almost dies. And imagine how much better this could have been with the freeze denying XP at the same time. But we're not going to go over that too much. We'll see if they can return to the bottom side. Obviously, if Pantheon hits 6, then diving turrets might be more of a nice little play, as Tucson is nearly going to die again. Tarzan a little bit late to the Scuttle Crab, so that is going to go the way of Bono. Definitely trying to gain vision and help out the bottom lane here.
So what's happening right now in this game is mostly that the Bono, he's not able to really find anything. I mean, he's almost even on camps with the Elite, or with the Talia. His lanes don't have any setup for him. So the Elise is very off-theme with the Gnar, with the Azir, with the Ezreal, and the Senna. You really start to look at this and wonder, well, why is she here? What is she really adding? It's not even like Elise gets to scale, because you have an Azir and an Ezreal in the team, so there is magic damage on the side of the enemy team composition, which, you know, UCal is going to be taking magic resistance runes as well, which is going to hurt and slow down everything a little bit. So this is one of those times where you look at the Elise pick and you wonder, well, not really achieving all that much.
Yeah, especially once you see the entire composition. Remember, Elise was picked second after Senna, and I feel like teams in the LCK, they value it so high, that Elise pick. And I think they're just saying, we want Elise on our team. It's an aggressive jungler for Bono. It's down his lane. It's something he's comfortable with. But once you put all the pieces together, it's kind of like that jigsaw piece that's obviously out of position. And you're like, huh, well, this picture didn't really come together too well. So definitely an interesting decision at the end of the draft. But we'll see if Bono can try to make something happen with his awkward lanes. The bottom lane after that win with the kill, it did go the way of Irove, by the way.
No, the thing here is that they... Okay, Soan is getting a bit annihilated up in top lane in terms of the trades anyway. He's going to be down teleport now. And Sword, if he does it right,
sniped.
Should be able to recall into tier 2 boots and just run back to the lane without using teleport. Soan, it looks like he doesn't even try to get a freeze. Now, the thing in bottom lane is that Viper has accrued a very small CS advantage. I believe that it's 3 right now if aiming gets all the CS, and this is a problem. So they're not achieving anything here. They're continuing to poke Ezreal Senna, but there's not going to be a dive that's possible. Your Pantheon doesn't have priority in mid lane. He doesn't have level 6 yet. You know that the Elise is going to be on the right-hand side. Just push in the wave, get your recall off, come back, pull the waves in, and then try to poke and threaten when you know that the Elise must then path to the other side of the map. But instead, we're having this ping pong that is achieving nothing, but it feels good.
Yeah, they're in control of the lane. Maybe they feel it's a little bit easier to CS, but it's not actually a good thing for the way it's going here. As they are going to poke Tucson pretty well, getting aggressive now as Zucal, but Kuro not really taking that fight. He's going to miss that Q, unfortunately. Does Zucal in the mid lane. More poking coming down. This is really annoying for the bottom lane, but remember that aiming does have TP at least, so you can try to get back here extremely fast.
And Bono, you just see, I mean, even though Tarzan not doing a whole bunch, neither is the Elise able to really achieve anything. And in the later stages of the game, it's just going to get better and better. As now Senna is going to end up recalling, the teleport coming in and helping out Ezreal. Now they did get a turret plate.
They got a couple.
Yeah, they
actually
have 2 down in bot lane.
Yeah.
Azir still hasn't achieved anything yet, so on up here in top lane, somehow ahead in XP. By...
Not sure exactly how that happened. He did go back and pick up the tier 2 boots and get there on time. I was watching that after you mentioned it, but for some reason he is down. And I think Soan actually might have been able, when Sword went back, I think there were like 2 or 3 minions that were still pushing into Soan, and I think he denied some XP that way. And pretty clever maneuver.
Oh, cannon!
Oh! I quit.
Yeah.
It's over.
Word comes down by Gnar. And we are in an indefinite lull state here, okay? We are... Something is just not quite... Now, the reason that they don't go for the flash W into flash Talia seismic shove is because Kuro has cleanse. So, to chain it all together...
What a smart guy.
Yeah, it would be pretty difficult. They're going to move their attention now over to the Mountain Dragon, though. And they'll pick that up. And everyone, viewers, you, I, we're all hoping for a Cloud Dragon to come up second.
Let's all hold hands. 33%, 33.3 repeating, of course. If you will. We might see some Leroy Jenkins a little bit later on in this game. It's not a Cloud Drake. Oh, boy.
This is not looking good.
Man.
Now we have a 50%.
This is definitely unfortunate. No one likes the Cloud Soul.
We have a new name for it here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what's that?
Clown Soul.
Oh.
A.K.A. Pennywise.
Never heard of that one.
Yeah, you never heard of that one?
Yeah, it's really original.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thought of it myself.
What is Cloud9's new meme name now that they never lose?
Crown 9?
Oh, okay.
Maybe that.
Because they used to be Clown 9, right?
Yeah, now they're Crown 9. Or maybe not. I mean, Crown left North America.
True.
And
that
maybe people would
sad.
think of that. Yeah, that is sad. So maybe people would think of that. Maybe that's not the best name to actually use.
Yeah.
Not sure.
We'll
But
have to put our minds to the test and see if we can come up with it.
why did he just... All right, it doesn't matter.
I think that middle
that oh,
guy...
no, he's going to die anyway.
All
All right,
right, okay,
saved.
good
Saved.
RNG. Good. Well done. He's been practicing his RNG. It's really good stuff. He's able to mind control the minions to attack the right one.
That is a...
It's still going to push into aiming in Tucson.
Yeah, special talent.
Yeah. And, well... Yeah, it's been kind of interesting. You know, you highlighted the Elise early on and how it really wasn't able to do much in the game. It visited top once when Sword wasn't there because, I mean, he had to stay near bot and mid to try to help out if a 2-on-1 happened to mid or if, you know, they got dived down in bottom side.
And it's not able to do stuff because its lanes don't allow it to do anything. So, again, the question becomes, why are you picking it? In a really weird messed up world, Karthus would even probably be better here. Even though the enemy's going to get magic resistance, he'd still probably have infinitely more impact than an Elise would. So, at this point, Griffin, they're going to end up getting the Rift Herald. Infernal coming up in 2.5 minutes. They have the priority on the lane swap. I always talk about this, though. Pay attention to the minion waves that can end up being lost while you're doing this. Sword now down here in bot lane. Going to be able to use that Haymaker shield to absorb some of the damage.
They were also dominating so hard.
You know what? In
I don't know what.
No, the intent was good. The intent was good.
Okay.
So the issue there is he has the tier 2 boots, he has the Phage, but the execution of it was really bad. So you want to have the movement speed from the Phage, the tier 2 boots. You can flash, do the E-pull, and if you get the stun, you can actually manage to get behind
and then
the enemy
back
and then alter backwards
into
into the
turret.
turret. But obviously, Tushin able to respond to that one. You can also do it with the slow, depending on the exact spacing that you get. It really depends. But a little sloppy on the execution.
Yeah, I mean, we have this rotation. It also allows Aiming and Tushin, who are getting bullied so hard in bottom lane, to have a breath of fresh air and say, hey, let's push bot, let's get Aiming some farm. He gets a couple of turret plates and has a good time, although now they've left him down in bottom lane alone, as Yukal is going to take a bunch of poke damage. Tarzan having to come in here and help him out.
One of the things that's really peculiar here is Tarzan, he has the Rift Herald, and he hasn't used it yet. There's a minute and a half until the turret plates expire. We see this sometimes in the LCK. They'll get the Rift Herald and then not use it until after turret plates fall. And it is it's one of the most bewildering things that you can ever witness.
That's very, very strange. I don't know if he's actually going to do that here. He wanted to save it for the top side, or not for the top side, but they had a push going in the top side, and he thought he didn't need it, so he was like, oh, maybe I could use it somewhere else. But where exactly is he going to use it? He's hanging around mid, looking to clear out some vision here with Iroh.
And they're reinitiating the lane swap here just to be in close proximity, get the leg up for the Infernal Dragon. They want to make sure that they get it. Very important for their team composition. Varus with the Umbral Glaive. I think this item is so underappreciated, by the way. It's just so great at clearing everything out so fast. Now the Rift Herald coming down here. They're going to get first turret of the game, as well as all these plates allocated onto Viper. Gets all of this solo.
Tarzan got a couple of the plates split with him, actually, from the Rift Herald. But they're looking to try to turn it here. Wow, the flash on in confidently. Tarzan able to put Tushin in the grave. Well, we were all on disengage mode there for KT, obviously, as he just wanted to get them away from him, and he succeeded, even if it went wide. But that does mean that the Infernal Drake is going to go the way of Griffin after a nice little play out of Tarzan.
Ooh, Tarzan moving out of the way. True Shot Barrage ends up getting some assistance from the Ezreal. And the longer that this game goes, it's going to come down to, can Ezreal eventually make it 2, 3, 4 items, and what can Kuro really do? Let's take a look here at the replay. Tarzan flashes over, Seismic Shove onto the Senna. Elise has flash. I think he said let's do Dragon?
Yeah. Dragon, go Dragon. And it is not a Cloud Soul, it is a Ocean Soul, actually. So things are getting prettier here.
Yeah, I think that is definitely a Pog, maybe even a Pog U.
Oh. Now don't get too ahead of yourself.
Yeah. We're gonna get a Cloud Soul next game now for doing that.
We
Black
see
Cleaver on set.
They can actually pick it up. Yeah.
Now, okay. I'm gonna go out on. You know what? I'm gonna defend this one.
Okay.
Only because there is 2 lethality users on the side of Griffin.
Do you think now?
So the absolutely pathetic amount of armor that is being shred is still valuable for those champions, and they're the real carries on the team, especially because all of the CC on the side of KT is able to lock up set. And he's even with Trinity Force and repositioning and stuff like that, he's not going to be the one that needs to be dealing damage at all. And even if the person that he hits, it's probably going to be single target, most likely, because you have 4 ranged champions on the side of KT. As long as they get hit by the Varus and by the Pantheon, probably end up being beneficial. Black Cleaver sucks, but there is 2 lethality users.
So let me ask you, do you think he factored all of that in when he made the purchase?
I have no idea. I'm not psychic.
Because we've seen many Black Cleaver purchases go astray when they didn't necessarily make sense, but it feels like almost by accident they have happened upon a good instance in which it actually kind of does make sense. In this position, we'll be able to have a nice amount of burst damage and pretty much doing true damage with 3 different members on their team. Although, really, the real carry of the blue team right now is Karma with the 2 kills.
True.
Finished the Grail.
And we'll just see what happens. I mean, right now, Griffin, they're going to pick up Shirley. They're going to end up getting that one. They'll wait until the next Ocean Dragon. They just have to wait on their core item completions. Now, if they really want to suffocate KT, I think going double Umbral Glaive would actually be okay. We see that there's still a Longsword in Yukal's inventory, and he does have the Warhammer. So he has option to go into Umbral Glaive along with the Varus. And at that point, if you have double Sweeper Lens plus double Umbral, it's so hard for KT to have any sort of vision. And against a poke pick composition like Griffin's, that can be a little problematic, but there's lots of ways to scout brushes, like using the Ezreal Qs, the Azir Soldiers, Elise Voidlings, Senna's skill shots. You know,
Yeah,
the more I go down the list, I start to realize
Nar
that.
also has a boomerang. What is that thing that he throws out?
But
that is a boomerang, right?
if KT is very uncoordinated, it can be nice.
Say boomerang. Just like Nar is a boomer champion.
A boomerang.
Yeah, boomerang.
It's a very weird way to talk about the U.S. elections.
Yeah, I don't know. Just thought I'd sneak that one in there.
All
But we'll have to see if KT actually puts up a fight here at this first Ocean Drake that's about to spawn. Still waiting on Elise to do something in this game, by the way. Really hasn't found much at all.
It's a nice little recall for Pantheon.
Yeah.
Black Cleaver finally picked up by Sword. Yumu's Ghostblade, first item actually for the Pantheon. Has the blue trinket, Shirley still available as well. And you can see that Elise went Merc Treads actually as her item of choice. And it is a little interesting what's going on.
I suppose would be
Ocean.
okay against the Talia.
10 seconds.
I don't know if she's going to survive a full burst combo if the CC chains come in, but I suppose maybe that's what she's trying to avoid.
The thing is even with the tenacity, which set or Pantheon get onto you, you're probably dead anyway.
You're dead, yeah. So it might be better to be proactive and look for the penetration.
And KT are handshaking this.
Yeah.
They
They're
lose
going
the
for
fight
it.
every day of the week.
Okay, trying to turn this one down south. Yukal gonna miss the engage, and now Sword not able to get one of his own as that will miss from KT. Griffin able to get in and get out, essentially, zoning KT away from the Dragon. They take down the Ocean, and now we're on Soul Point here for the side of Griffin.
Yeah, and this is a very early Soul Point, and Ocean is absolutely a Dragon that can just end the game. So, very scary situation here for KT. No Morellos on the horizon or Executioner's Calling going to be coming up. Tier 1 turret is going to get raised by KT. As now it's going to be smooth sailing. Yumu's Ghostblade picked up by Viper. And now we're back to the little save Elvis, so.
Yeah, I mean, we had our Dragon fight, and now we have 4 minutes until the next one.
All right.
Realistically, though, that's the way a lot of these games have been going.
Fellas, if you could buff one champion in the game, what would it be?
Well, I mean, it's hard not to be biased when you ask a question like that. Let's buff Talia.
Really? I would buff
Well, I
Teemo.
play Talia all the time.
I would actually buff Teemo. I think he's so close to being competitively viable. He's just not quite there.
I mean, Tarzan played him. Or not Tarzan. Viper played him. Getting my Griffin members mixed up. We have seen it in pro play.
Teemo is so close to coming back. He just needs a little bit of lovin'.
You know, I think what he needs is a couple more skins. I think if he gets maybe 1 to 3 more skins, it's kind of like the low to high range there. I think maybe we will see some players pick him up. I mean, how can you resist?
I think if he just had 50 more range.
I mean, they're not that expensive. It's only like $9.99. See how I turned that one into
Depends how you look at it, yeah.
into a sellout moment. And this game is going to be interesting because I think it's going to come down to Katie trying to scale up with I almost said Azale. Azir and
Azale is literally a world champion.
yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
And Azir is literally a champion of his people.
Yeah.
So
and he is literally just a champion as well.
I feel like some guy got the translation wrong when making the champion Azir, and that it was actually made after Azale. Right.
Maybe it was.
Yeah.
And you've unlocked the secret.
Right.
Yeah, that could be it.
I feel like that's actually what's going on here. So, that's all.
Yeah.
Shurima sounds like an instance from WoW.
Could be.
Could be.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like it could be.
Yeah. The like Shurima Halls or something like that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Or just Shurima.
Just Shurima.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of instances that are named like that.
Naxxramas.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the one.
Alright.
Yeah. Encourage. I mean, that's
Yeah.
somewhat similar,
There
I
we
guess.
go. Hold on, let me...
Yeah.
Ice Crown Citadel. That's sort of a...
Yeah. it's
I
like
mean, you
Blackwing
just call it
Lair.
Ice Crown. Alright?
Well, we got a minute and a half left before, you know, KT actually are hitting some nice timings here with their Ezreal on 2.5 items with the QSS, ready to go for the next fight. They got Azir with also 2.5 items, slowly scaling up. I think if they don't get hard engaged, KT still have a chance to take a fight, and they really need to if they do not want to give the Ocean Soul away, because if the Ocean Soul goes the way of Griffin, I feel like the game might just end, regardless of what kind of scaling KT has with that Azir.
Whoa! It's a bit of damage.
Whoa.
That is absolutely just a wee bit. Okay.
Did you say weep?
A wee bit. Why?
I just thought you said weep.
Oh, no.
QSS coming into really good effect there.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Tushin has one more arrow left in him.
He's backing. He's done.
He is backing. As right now, KT, they're going to be in this stalemate, and Ezreal is very good at dishing back poke, and Tushin being forced to reset is a little unfortunate, but he does still have time, and oddly enough, Griffin did not path into the river in order to get the Scuttle Crab. So they elected to actually go inside the red side jungle so that they could mind control KT into thinking that they had the low ground. But really, this was just in anticipation for the Grand Skyfall, which is about to come in.
Okay, not going to be stolen here as this Grand Skyfall will come in, but a huge play out of the Emperor's Divide. Now trying to turn it around here is KT. Not going to happen, but the Sniperino coming out of Viper. Unbelievable damage out of that Varus right now. He's able to put that Azir in the death chamber. Now just trying to run away here is KT. Nice cocoon out of Bono, but that's really all he's got left in the tank. So on. Never really able to find that engage, as at least they avoid the Ocean Soul, but we're beginning to see the power of that Lethality Virus coming in.
And the cool thing about Lethality is that there's more items now to end up purchasing. He'll probably end up getting a Duskblade of Drakthar as his next item. And Pantheon going with the Black Cleaver himself. So now if that was going to be the case, I'm not sure why Set would end up having the Black Cleaver then. That would be the way that he's going to go, the itemization route, as, yeah, that was... I'm not sure what that just was. And we're at 26.5 minutes. The Forbidden Book picked up on Taliyah. I think that given how Taliyah is gonna team fight in a lot of these instances, I really don't think that the Morello healing reduction is worth it by any means. I know that there's a Senna. I'm aware that there is an Athene's Unholy Grail. I'm aware that Gnar has Fleet Footwork. But for almost the same amount of gold, you could have completed a Haunting Guise, started moving towards Leandri's, and there are champions building some HP on the side of KT.
Yeah.
Gnar obviously has a massive amount of it.
Also, Taliyah's, I feel like one of these champions that's really good
With Madness. Yeah.
Specifically. She's just always constantly attacking, so you stack it up so fast. It's such a great item on her. And
so the question ends up becoming, is the Grievous Wounds, does it deal more than Haunting Guise Madness? The 10%, does it end up reducing more, but also does it curve out better? Because while he does have the Morello right now, we have 2.5 minutes until an Ocean Dragon comes up, so if you factor in some CS that he can pick up, he could probably get to a Blasting Wand as well. And all things considered, there's just not a lot really going on.
Yeah, just waiting in between the Drakes here. I know that KT is not necessarily trying to start any fights for now, but either way, we do have Griffin not really able to force anything either, as the gold pretty even when it does come down to it. We got 2 minutes until that one. Oh, KT gonna try to accelerate things on the Baron. We see the blue trinket is used up in the north side. They have no idea. Irove is finally gonna come in here. He's got Mancer Q. Mancer Q, can he do it? Can they steal it? No, they cannot. The smite will come in. And even if Bono goes down, it does not matter. And there you go. It is going to be Baron going the way of KT. And now this game could certainly extend, as KT will have a lot of map pressure with this buff and should be able to start taking some drinks.
They're going to have the stats bolstering them as well. Now, Ocean coming up in 1 minute and 20. It should still be Griffin that should be able to get into position. The Baron, it helps out in so many different ways. It's not just the gold and mitigating some of the pressure that Griffin's able to exert, but also the XP that comes from it. Kuro is up 2 levels in mid lane, aiming even with Viper. Tushin even with Irove. So on up a level as well on Sword. The only level advantage present right now on Griffin is actually Tarzan.
Yeah.
And so this is just a complete blunder all around. Duskblade of Drakthar picked up by Viper, as well as the Mortal Reminder. So right now, no Edge of Night, actually.
That's pretty insane. I mean, Senna does have some sustainability, but it's an insane amount of poke here, and they're doing this all.
Burst the dragon.
Yeah, they're doing this all right before the dragon spawns.
Suffocate the choke point right where UCal is right now with just a Chains of Corruption, or you have Set run at it and sacrifice himself with the suplex. Taliyah Wall, burst the Drake. So all that they need to do right now is just start it up immediately. Taliyah Wall.
Nope.
Sacrifice the member and burst.
Not gonna happen, but Kuro is in an awkward spot. Does have the stopwatch here, trying to flash away, but he's gonna go down.
He died. And that's going to be Ocean.
Okay, so on. Again, stopwatch is going to stop him as they're trying to burst down the front line, but a huge amount of damage from the Set. And the Varus right behind him. Another follow-up there with the seismic shove, and Griffin looking for more even, as Aiming is going to be able to get away. At the end of this all, they still have their Ezreal with red and blue buff. Will they try to stop this here? They got TP coming in. It doesn't look like it's possible, and Ocean Drake should go to Griffin.
Yeah, Ocean Drake is absolutely going to go to Griffin, and with that, it should be the game.
Okay, trying to lock down Deucin here. He's just going to die. Gets hit by the Chains of Corruption, and after that, really had no chance to get away. So, Senna not having a fun time against this Lethality Varus in this game.
And you can see Sword on the right-hand side, not really sure what Kuro was thinking. I think that he completely blanked on what Set's abilities maybe are, and that UCal also in close proximity, so I think we saw why Shurima fell.
Oh.
Back in the day. Maybe it was decisions like that one that could have played a part. Set's Haymaker doing insane amounts of work. Seismic Shove by the Talia, able to lock up Sohan as well, and with that, that is going to be the game. Grand Skyfall coming in as well as Viper. He missed one arrow, and he said, you know what? Just needed to line her up for the second one.
Yeah, line her up, take her down, as there was a flash available, or at least there should have been, for Deucin. It's possible it just came up in recent time. But either way, he decides it's not worth it, not going to get away from that one. So he does go down for the third time in this game. Currently, no kills for the side of KT. It's all been Griffin so far. KT playing relatively passively in this game, as there feels like they can't get near the Varus. I mean, this is just ridiculous. He's gonna lock him down again. That's another kill, just sitting in the lane. It's not even like they're engaging or anything. And down you go again. No more support Santa.
Well, volley god taketh, volley god giveth. Sometimes, but this time he's taking.
Yeah.
As the demonic spirit of that bear is not present in Dushin this game. Senna just not having the best of games here.
Trying to turn on UCal. Looks like he should die. Doesn't have flash here. Pokes coming out. Need another arcane shift out of aiming. He's gonna miss. Okay, they chase him all the way down the river and they finally get him, but the inhibitor is going to die. Potentially looking to surround them here. Not sure if this will actually work out. Not much damage coming out of the True Shot Barrage.
UCal being dead means this would probably be the best possible chance that KT could have taken to fight. Maybe there's a way, you see the ward that Sword just walked by. Perhaps there's actually a way that Sohan could have teleported onto that and they could have looked for a collapse. Let's take a look at this. As Chains of Corruption, I got him. And up here, the replay, Kuro shuffling UCal right back. UCal shouldn't have flashed, he should have just died. Him dying doesn't change anything on the map. It's not like an objective is lost, it's not like anything meaningful happens. So, flashing away is just a waste of a summoner spell. Does end up picking up the Guardian Angel now.
And it's hard to see really a direction by which KT can try to come back into this one. We do have Exodia coming up here in 2.5 minutes. The Elder Drake, very, very close. As now looking for another angle here is Sword. Unseen for now, is gonna find Sohan. Small little jump there. Not going to amount to too much.
Well, at this point, Griffin, they're just posturing, and I'm not sure if they're going to wait until the Elder Dragon comes up. Right now, they're just waiting on core items. And realistically, Griffin are in a spot where they really can't lose. They push in top wave. Obviously, Azir going to go over to answer that. They might wait for the Elder Dragon to come up as a means to fork KT, utilizing both major neutrals. But instead, they're actually just going to Grand Skyfall in. Aiming ends up going down. UCal now chasing down Bono on the left-hand side. Kuro trying to do what he can to dish out some damage onto UCal, and maybe Griffin is just saying, this is going to be the end of the game. They have super minions acting as buffer. Doesn't help out as much against Azir as it would against an Ezreal, but still helps against the Elise. The Cocoon not able to hit. Weaver's Wall comes out, not really going to do a whole bunch, but remember the Ocean Soul is present for Griffin. The healing is absolutely ginormous. Super Minion re-arriving, aiming, coming up in 15 seconds. Can Kuro hold? And Set just dealing such an insane amount of damage. Sword with the face breaker onto several champions. Superplexing Kuro back into his team. Last Nexus turret going to fall here as the Nexus is going to go down as well. And that is going to be game number 1 going over to Griffin in a really decisive manner. And if you're Griffin right now, you're probably feeling really good. They started off the game by getting the kind of control and tempo that they wanted in bottom, and they never really let it go by any means. Varus pick obviously working out really well. The Elise not really doing so much. The team composition for KT a little bit misaligned, and we saw issues of it throughout early and mid-game. Kuro having some questionable plays. There was a glimmer of hope with them getting the Ocean Dragon, stalling the game out, eventually sneaking the Baron as well, but then Kuro threw it all away inside that blue side jungle play that he tried to make, not acknowledging that Sword could just bring him back in, and the Pantheon there as well to follow up. So right now, they're going to deliberate between games, wonder how they're going to assess the situation. And the unfortunate thing now for KT is Griffin's going to be the one going to red side, so they're going to have the counter picks available however they deem fit. And to get out-muscled in this game as well as having the losing draft on red side is really unfortunate if you are a KT fan. Griffin looking pretty clean in this game number 1. Valdez is currently not with us right now. He, I think Morello got to him. That's all I'm gonna say there. So. Should have built Leandri's. Anyways, though, game number 2, Griffin and KT is going to be coming up next. We'll see if any substitutions are actually made, or if they can just get maybe a better matchup for aiming and Tushin down in bottom. They picked the Senna early. I don't think that that was bad by any means, but then they picked the Ezreal into the Varus Karma, which was really bizarre because they self-counterpicked themselves there. They end up having a very useless Elise that they picked early on, and so the draft is all around very questionable. I think that the initial R1, R2, R3 is really okay against Set in a vacuum, but that's not the way that you want to end up drafting it. There's the damage on Varus, as he did more than his whole team combined. So that is, I mean, it's all right. It's an okay amount of damage. I gave the MVP over to him, as well as I voted for Valdez as well. I'm not quite sure if they're going to actually count that vote or not. Maybe we're only going to have an 8-vote POG. And this is my first time doing this, so, you know, just trying to wing it. Leandri's is only 3,100 gold. You can pick that up in the shop. Don't be misguided by the book. And we're gonna go to a short break. Hopefully I can find Valdez. Hopefully he's doing okay. We'll see you for game number 2.
타워 쳐야 돼. 아지르 높을. 다음 웨이브 20초야. 20초.
앨리스 없어.
20초.
아니 이즈리얼 없어.
타워 때리는 쪽으로 봐라.
오케이 타워 때리는 쪽.
아지르 높을이야.
끝.
타워.
알아야 된다. 타워.
나를. 타워.
이즈리얼 없어. 타워.
침착해. 침착해. 이거 펜타 중에 Q 빠졌어. 키보드. 아 진짜로? 에이스. 레전드. 이겼다. Q 빠져서 빠진 걸로 눌러서 썼다. 후반에 이거 3렙 타이밍이 너무 늦어가지고.
형민
왜?
1대1 들어와. 참 잘한다며. 내가 너보다 잘해.
나 1대1 하네.
빨리 들어오라고. 나 일단 아트록스 할게.
아트록스 해라. 마린씨 할게.
럼블 한다고? 오케이.
아니 마린씨 한다니까.
생각해 럼블이잖아.
아니야 마린씨 한다니까. 오버히트.
아 뭐해?
왜?
대충 하지 마.
대충이라니. 한 대? 두 대. 끝. 왜 그랬어?
아 봐준 거야.
왜 그랬어?
아 전멸도 있어. 봐준 거야.
너 이길 수 있다고 생각하냐? 꿀려면 먹고 왔지 너.
탑라이너들은 원래 꿀려면 먹어.
야 꿀려면. 야뭐 탑라이너들 원래 꿀려면 먹어 이러고. 꿀려면.
아 라인 탑라이너는 원래 꿀려면 저 중요해.
야 봐주려고 했는데 안 봐줄게.
아 다시 해. 1렙부터.
안해.
알렘도 다시 해.
안해. 콤보 연습하러 갈게.
얘들아, 시우가 싸우자고 콜하면 그냥 그 순간에 뺄 생각하지 말고 무조건 싸움 콜만 봐.
얘들아 싸움콜은 나다. 막판 이기자. 이기자 화이팅! 화이팅! 가자 세트 출동! 끊었어. 일로 와봐. 나이스. 레다. 렌터 마르고. 괜찮고. 앞에부터 잘하면부터. 모대 맞아. 기다려. 하나 오리 맞아. 나 조직에 있거든. 이거 봐줄 수 있어. 맞아. 죽여. 야, 살려줘. 너무 좋아. 클리피 너무 좋아. 가이퍼. 너무 좋아. 얘들아 너무 고맙다. 우승하면 이런 느낌인가? 미치겠네.
팀원들한테 오늘만 제발 이겨달라고 제가 많이 말했거든요. 고맙다 얘들아.
네.
초심 잃으면 안 돼. 야, 10등 바텀 욕심내지 마.
근데 전판이 너무 아쉬워서.
아쉬운 거. 저판 네가 못해놓고 왜 자꾸 아쉬우면 이번 판에 잘하던가 그러면. 이번 판에 잘하면 되지. 잘해보자. 이길 수 있다. 파이팅. 조심해 이거.
탑플킬.
정말? 나이스. 너무 좋아.
나 자신 있다고. 나 이거 솔킬 짤수 있는데.
아니야. 알아서
알게.
그런 건 다 알아서 하는 거야 그냥. 첫 승이야 드디어? 아야. 오케이. 내가 먼저 볼게. 앞에 높을. 앞에 잡아야 돼. 앞에. 나이스. 오케이. 나이스.
종이 형 왜 이렇게 잘하냐?
수신의 라칸. 사랑해요 우리 팀. 남자의 버스 받으라고.
일단 궁으로 한번 들어가봐. 센터 들어가야 돼. 센터 궁으로 들어가야 돼. 야 갈게.
앞에 높을. 아 이게 승리의 맛인가? 이건가? 이게 승리의 맛인가?
땡겨.
뒤를 죽여. 나이스.
상고 다행이다.
이게 바로 10중의 반란이라고.
와, 나 너무 못해요, 진짜.
잘했다 잘했다.
잘했어.
네, 스프링 1라운드 마지막
Welcome to
경기
the
그리핀과
final
KT 가
match.
만났습니다.
LSS
공격
KT
시작할게요.
versus
김민아님
Griffin.
반갑습니다. 자, 오늘 와디드님, 이란님
Once
오실게요.
again, we'll be hearing from
안녕하세요.
Wadid and Lyra for the analyst.
네, 반갑습니다. 그리핀과 KT가 만났고
Griffin versus
박빙을
KT.
예상하신 분들이 꽤
A lot of
많았는데
people expected a
경기는
very
오히려
close
그리핀이
game.
압도적으로
However,
앞서고
Griffin
있습니다.
had a
이게
very
영향이 있었던 것
dominant
같아요.
performance.
저는 뱀픽에서 좀 인상 깊게 봤던 것이
One of the
그리핀과
impressive
탈리아
points
뭔가 떼놓을 수
was
없는
that
관계이지
Griffin's
않나 싶을
Talia and
정도로
Pantheon, you know, one of their favorite comp.
애정하는 모습이 또 보였어요. 네.
네.
그렇죠. 저는 사실 그리핀이
And for
굴려야
me,
되는 조합을 가져왔고
Griffin
그리핀이
had
조금
the
느리다고
snowball
생각을
comp. They
했는데
have the
저걸 굴릴 수
slower
있을까라는
comp.
생각을 했어요.
So
정말 잘
it
굴렸고,
had a
KT
little
같은
bit
경우는
more of a
1, 2, 3의
difficult
인테리어
composition
스타일을
overall,
보면서
but they
막
managed to
대응을
pull it
하면서
off really
바텀쪽으로
well.
게임을 할 거라고
KT with
생각했는데
Azrael and
오히려
Senna,
아직을
they were
보면서
planning to
15분까지
play
어떤
around
상관없이 그냥
the
무난하게
bot
넘어갔다.
side,
이런
and they
식으로
locked in
진행될 것
Azir in the final
네,
pick, kind of
그렇지만
expecting to have no
사건
accidents
계속해서
before
일어났죠.
15-minute
경기
mark.
아주 극초반에 KT의 바텀
However, in a very
포워드
early
진영이
phase,
있었는데 왜 이렇게
KT
경기를
roster, their bot duo actually fell
근데
so easily.
KT 바텀의 이제 생각도 어느 정도 일리가
But we
있는
can also
편이었습니다.
understand their
정글
decision
사이드
here
체인지를 했음에도 불구하고
because
이렇게
they
판단을
actually
했던 것은 투신 선수가
changed
포지션을
their
아예 그냥 공격적으로
side
갔고
in terms of
공격적인
jungle
포지션을,
path,
처음부터
and
기본적으로
Tusin was in a very
그냥
aggressive
그냥
position.
라인을 빨리 밀어 넣어서 상대가 할
They
거
wanted to
없다.
push
그리고
lane really
바텀
fast
서포트가
and
뭐 원거리
just
레인지 매치업이면 라인을 미는
overwhelmed
기본적인
during the laning
스킬을
phase.
갖추고 라인 주도권을 가져오기가 정말 쉬운
Because
그런
Azrael and
부분인데
Senna, their
여기서
comp is so
와드가
easy
탈리아를
to
견제하지
get the
못했어요.
winning
그래서
lane.
제가
However,
그렇고 그렇고
surprisingly,
KT
Talia was
가
not
애초에
spotted on
초반에
that
강타의
ward.
시야를 되게 잘 잡아놨었는데 탈리아가 감지되지
KT
못한
already had a lot of
그런
visions
부분이
around the
KT
river.
좀
However, with that bit of a space that allowed Talia to sneak in, KT players could not actually expect Talia to come for that gank. And also, Talia always go for a 3-level gank, so and also Talia also always go in for a gank with a huge minion wave, so no one could have actually expected that.
최고의 수비 이게
And you know, being offensive is the best way to defend themselves. So they actually wanted to clear out that wave to prevent them for a potential 3-level gank. However, that false information coming in from that ward kind of enabled Griffin to pick up a huge and meaningful kill in the early phase.
운영을 보여줬죠.
저는 진짜 그리핀의 운영이 너무나 깔끔했던
Plus, Griffin had a very clean macro.
첫용 이후로 이어지는
After the first Drake, look how they rotate all around the map.
하나도 내주지 않는
They don't let anything,
네, 그렇죠. LCK가
they don't let KT to take anything away from them.
추구했습니다. 사실 6분 전까지는
A lot of teams always trade the objectives, but this time around, Griffin just took everything. They took Herald and they took the bot lane turret, and then they rotated to top side and took the tier 1 turret as well.
어떻게 보면 그냥 무난하게
They could have just unleashed that Shelly on top side. However, Talia once again rotated.
호수비를 함과 동시에 그리고 또 여기서 그냥 전령을 먹지 않고 탑타워도 마무리하지 않고 그냥 여기서
So
교환을
without
눌러서
finishing
바로
that
바텀으로
top
다시
lane
봅니다.
turret, they
여기서 이제
rotated
체크하셔야
back
될 게
to
다음 용
the
그
bot
타이밍.
lane turret,
다음 용
protecting
타이밍과
every objective they
아주
have.
정확하게 일치하는 그런 라인 스왑
And this
타이밍이었고,
is the
또
perfect
바텀에
timing that
전령
matches
쓰면서
the
바텀 깔끔하게 가져가고,
second Drake
그리고
spawn.
또 이제 바텀에서 소드 선수가 어떻게 보면 좋은
So their
슈퍼플레이로
lane
세나의
swapping
커맨드를
timing was
빼낸
on
것을
point.
활용하여
It was
이겨서
perfect. So they weren't able to kind of lose anything during the macro phase.
첫 번째 용에서 두 번째 용으로
So
이어지는
that
그 단계가 너무나도 매끄럽고 순탄하게
Transition
잘
from the
이어진 것
first
같아요.
Drake
좀
into the
많이
second
인상
one
깊은
was
장면이어서
so
사실은
smooth
이런
sailing,
긴
and
운영
that was one of
단계를
the most
보여드리지
perfect
않는데
macros
하위
that
팀이
teams can actually pull off.
그날의 영광에 비하여 또 하위 팀인 그리핀이라고 또 설명하는 게 좀
It's really hard to see
좋은 모습을 보여준 것
or
같아요.
like acknowledge that Griffin is on the ground in terms of LCK standing in LCK 2020 Spring Split. However, still Griffin is showing a top tier macro.
짜잔.
The player of the game will be Viper on Varus. That poking Varus was doing so much damage. And it all snowballed from that bot lane kill in level 1. And Viper picked up almost every turret gold during the laning phase. Because he had so much gold in his pocket, well, there was no point where Varus actually loses his power.
아까 이전에 보여드렸던 그 장면에서부터 사소하지만
So some points of macros are really small, but actually they always have a huge impact.
이렇게 강화할 수 있었는지 좀 알게 될 수 있는 장면이었고 뭐잘 큰다고 해서 다 되는 게 아니에요.
네, 그리고 마지막 한타 때 또 뭐 Q가 빠져 있기도.
And also in the mic check, we could hear that Viper actually said the Q key from his keyboard actually fell out, so he had to just play without that key. However, he was really doing perfect.
아무 문제 없었죠.
저는 되게 그게 엄청 중요한
And I think it's really important to kind of hold their mentality like that, because some of the players can just get flustered or tell the teammates that his keyboard is broken, but Viper was so calm, and just in the end he just mentioned that, oh, my key just fell out, but I just did it.
있네요. 네, 바이퍼 선수가 1세트 POG
So Viper with picking up that POG
그리핀과 KT가
in the trade for his keyboard key. So let's move on to game number 2.
Okay, guys, welcome back. I'm here on the desk. I have survived. That was a emergency for sure, but I made it out alive on the other side. Unlike, it looks like KT, who did not end up taking that win. Viper able to put them in the dumpster here with his lethality Varus and just poke them down to death. As looked really strong, actually. Down even in the early game, they got that early gank going, and well, it seems like finally Griffin have turned their luck around here, at least for game number 1.
Yeah, and we'll see if KT can even up the score. I think it's going to be really hard for them to do so on blue side, but we'll see. The pick ban between these two teams, definitely a bit more focused at each other than the conventional meta as it currently stands. KT, we're going to have to see what they open with. Callista actually going to bite the dust.
Yeah.
And this is a champion that's able to be flexed into 3 roles.
Jarvan also taken off the list.
And see what the second ban is going to be. As it will be Varus.
Yeah, that is it's a telling ban after game number 1.
And so now Griffin should probably just go Aphelios Ornn. Okay, or Ornn Aphelios, whatever.
I mean, you're already wrong.
What? I just
You said
misspoke.
Aphelios Ornn. I know you were trying to be alphabetical, but it didn't work out. Ornn is banned first. That does mean that Aphelios might be skipped over, but I think the chances are less than 1%. Yuumi gonna be taken off the board here.
As Aphelios does get banned in the end. Now, if Set gets picked up by KT, let's see. Oh, it will be the Senna. So they are adamant about this, and I think that they've tried to adjust their draft in a means to not have it be abused. And interestingly, there's still other ways to try to attack it. Viper is one of the AD carries that can probably do it, with mages down in bot lane as well. We'll see if that's actually on the agenda for Griffin, as the pick ban does continue to unfold here.
Yeah, they pick Set again. Of course, left available here.
Gragas really good in a spot like this on R2, but instead they're going to go with the Karma multi-flex potential, mid-top, ADC, and support. A little bit of everything.
No jungle, though? You haven't tried that one?
No, I
Jungle Karma?
Nope.
Yeah,
Not yet.
I know you have a thing for...
Unusual
picks,
yeah.
Large junglers, we'll
What?
say. Large champions. Tom Kench, Ornn, Cho'Gath.
What does that have to do with Karma?
I'm saying that's why you wouldn't pick her in the
Oh,
jungle.
okay.
Yeah.
Alright, sure,
It's,
yeah.
it's not really down your line of thinking when it comes to stuff to bring into the jungle. Not a tank, as Olaf was banned in game 1, and speaking of which, Sir Thomas Kench, who has kind of earned his name back in a way here in the LCK. We've been seeing him more and more.
This is where you could just double mage bot lane, and Viper is one of the players that could do it. Instead, though, they are just going to go with the Ezreal Karma. So, very poke heavy. Ezreal has been popping up again in the LCK. Griffin now going to move to the second ban phase. KT will probably try to pinch junglers. And what they're probably thinking is trying to pinch AP junglers, given that there's a lot of physical damage on the side of Griffin.
That is true. We also do see another ban against Kuro here with a LeBlanc. Going to be taken off the board.
Oh, it's going to be Zoe.
Yeah.
Is banned away so that Griffin doesn't get access to an R4 Zoe pick that would allow them to assemble 2/3 of Team Rocket.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're both banned out there. The two of them next together, Jesse and Meow, on that blue side as Rumble, just all the APs being taken away here, as well as Pantheon.
Rumble getting banned away is a little bit bizarre, given that the mobility on the side of Griffin is so high, able to reposition against the Equalizer and things of that nature.
Yeah, it definitely is interesting. I feel like they were just specifically targeting Kuro. He's played 4 games of Rumble, and maybe just saying we don't want to give him comfort at all.
Gragas. So, I really like seeing this. Normally, people will say something about Gragas Olaf in the sense that Olaf can just power around Gragas, and Gragas can't do anything, but Gragas is being picked for the team composition, not just for the isolated jungle matchup, as Nautilus now being locked in. That's probably going mid lane, which is so bizarre, given that Set can just go mid, and then Nautilus doesn't have a very happy time. Thing does provide a little bit more lockdown onto the Ezreal, and what an all-in sinful team composition, straight from the Shadow Isles, led by Senna here. Kennen did get picked up. All you need is a disengage champion right now on the side of Griffin. Azir is actually just fine here, but I think counterpicking the Kennen up in top lane is infinitely more valuable. Is the Maokai... No.
Oh, Renekton instead! That's like the worst deal. Oh, man. We were thinking like, could be some kind of disengage, controlling mage, like an Azir, maybe a Cassiopeia. And then we saw the Maokai, and we all got really excited. And then it was Renekton. Now, it is going to be set mid. They decide they wanted to play Renekton into the top lane. Kuro, you could see his head was kind of tilting to the side. Perhaps he wasn't too happy with it either.
That's really interesting.
You're holding back so hard.
Champion pick here to come in on R5.
Yeah.
Renekton Knight.
Yeah, you think it's all right? It's interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll go with that one. We'll go with that one, Valdez.
Okay.
As Kennen Olaf, Nautilus, Senna, and Tom Kench is going to be the team composition here. For KT, we'll see what they can do with it. They are very all in. Team comp just falls off a cliff at 1.5 items. You could even say that it actually just can't win if they fall behind by the time they'd hit their first item, which is so peculiar given that you have the Senna and you would typically want to go to the later stages with her, have a very stable mid game. Ezreal, Karma, Renekton, Gragas, and Set. So Renekton's actually going to be in the mid lane, according to this graphic. Set going to go up top against Kennen.
I didn't see them swap there at the end, but I suppose they must have without us noticing. So yeah, UCal is going to be mid against the Nautilus on that Renekton. So definitely not what we were expecting coming into the mid lane, especially out of a player like UCal who's had great games on Azir. He's played the Varus mid himself, control-y type stuff. But now he's just going melee versus melee.
The thing that's really strange about this is that, yes, okay, Gragas is going to be able to deal near true damage because the enemies aren't incentivized to get any sort of magic resistance, but even picking a champion like Victor here would be so much better. Sending Victor top lane against Kennen, Gravity Field, the movement speed from his Q, Death Ray, Chaos Storm, everything is just so valuable against KT.
And you already have the counter pick for mid.
And you already do have the counter pick. Even a champion like Zillion in top lane would be really good as well. Or just anything to neutralize the Kennen would just be so fine. And then you just win outright because you invalidate some of their champions. So peculiar. Aiming, he's sinning right now.
Well, okay, this is really interesting. Gonna try to really push UCal out of the lane.
Took a turret shot, though. And Tushen is gonna miss CS for this. What are they, what?
He missed the XP.
He's gonna miss the XP.
On the one that did die already.
And Viper and Iroh, if they're responding to this correctly, they're not instantly shoving, which could end up being a mistake. That was the most bizarre sequence of events, level 1.
That gang sucked.
Zelda's that's hurt.
I just wanted to harken back to our pal Kobe with the famous "that teleport sucked" call. And it really did. I mean, Renekton still hit level 2 first, and they didn't even get any summoners out of UCal. Aiming wasn't there to help out his bottom lane. There was no redeeming factor, really,
no,
out of any of it, which is why I really had to bring that one out. That was really the only way I could describe it.
Here comes Olaf.
This might work out better.
Yeah, UCal still handshaking it.
Yeah, trying to take this trade, but he's got the double dash.
He almost actually flashed into the pull.
Into the hook?
Yeah, into the hook. No, I actually think that if the dredge line hits and Tarzan flash body slams, I think they end up winning. Oh, I don't think that we're going to actually see a replay, though, so perhaps it is just a little bit too close. Now, because Olaf did try to go for a 4-camp gank instead of just full clearing, his 2 most valuable camps haven't been consumed yet. He will get the Scuttle Crab. Tarzan now going to start up on the blue buff. And this is just the natural sequence of events of this jungler matchup.
Yeah, and we're going to get to see the Senna in the bottom side as the fasting Senna this time around. It's not the support Senna that we saw in game number 1. That was just really kind of sad up against that lethality Varus. So it'll be interesting to see if it can be taken out here by Ezreal Karma. The priority was there big time from the side of Griffin on the Karma. I mean, it was second pick for them. Really trying to grab that as soon as possible. So we'll see if the poke out of her can actually try to win this lane really hard once again.
Everything else is just going super standard, and if you are a Griffin fan, this is exactly what you do want to be seeing. As just even lane states all around, it means that they will end up winning out later in the game.
Trying to take some pot shots here is Viper, while his support is out of lane. So all the quote-unquote supports taking a lot of routes and vacations out of the bottom lane so far. Another trade here in mid. Aftershock is a pretty good rune still. Is going to be just fine against this Renekton.
Bono just trying to get some counter jungling done right now. It's very difficult when your laners aren't setting up your lanes in order to be favorable for ganks. And if you're Griffin, you're completely fine actually getting shoved in both top lane and mid lane. It means that you're virtually gank immune. And even though the Renekton typically needs to win in order to be viable, because the enemy team composition is so weak, it's not really going to be the case. Now, I'm also really curious if Sword is going to end up going Merc Tread's first recall into eventually Trinity Force and just relying on the Black Cleaver from Renekton to come in to give him some sort of armor pen. Yukal missing that one melee minion. He can go next. As Ocean Dragon...
Well, it's nothing compared to Kuro missing the cannon seconds before.
You know what, Valdez?
Just had to one-up you there with my my cannon spot.
Ooh.
Ult in the top side. Doesn't look like, okay. That's a nice little trade out of Sword. Now what is he going to do? Push as hard as he can. No, he's actually going to freeze. Okay. Maybe I'm a little bit too on the negative side today.
Yeah, you really are.
Yeah, you know? I'm going to take a little back seat here.
I think I know who lost his rank game today.
Oh, I mean, that's every day for me. We got a gank coming in here as Yukal might just die. Gets a lot of lifesteal out of his Q, but can they turn this one around as the TPs come out? A nice engage there from the side of Sword, and this set is pretty big. Even though he only has that Doran shield, able to do a nice job getting in there. Gragas able to come in there together and get a kill back.
And that ultimately is a very big win for Griffin, because anytime that you go even with the better scaling team composition, it's always going to be favoring. So right now, things are looking very rough. The fasting Sentinel lane is starting to get some kickback in it, though. Giant's Belt was picked up on Tushin, and he does need a big belt. Sir Thomas
it's a big belt.
Does get around.
Belt for a Giant.
We see how this trade ends up actually starting, and Yukal probably knows that he's actually being ganked. I can't imagine a world where he actually believes that Kuro's story is that he's really taking that trade in that manner. Sword ends up coming in, and Kennen has flash, so a flash superplex into turret or something of that nature on Kennen doesn't really serve a purpose or anything like that. Sword manages to retain his flash as well, so when the superplex is available again, it can end up being good. Now, good news, Valdez. Cloud Dragon second.
Oh, nice. Means we are going to get Infernal or Mountain. It's going to be a nice mix-up. We had Ocean in game 1. So, pretty good stuff here. Lots of swords in the mid lane. They have Sword on their team, and then a bunch of swords picked up. That's like a... Is that a sword or like a dagger?
What?
The Doran's blade. It's like a... Ooh. Because, I don't know, like you see it right next to the longsword, right?
Yeah.
And that is named Longsword. And...
That is named Longsword.
And you can see that they're about the same length. So is that like just a, it's like a poker, you know? Is that a sword or a dagger or some kind of other? I know there are a lot of different names for all the different weapons. I don't know.
Well, maybe it's a Ninjato.
Oh, a Ninjato.
Yeah, a Ninjato.
Oh, why didn't I think of that the first time?
Yeah. We can't all be doing this, Valdez.
Yeah, is that what you found on Ninjato?
Ninjato.
Oh, Ninjato.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I'm pronouncing this wrong. It's fine.
You need to level up your weeb skill.
Yeah.
How many animes have you watched in the last week?
0.
Really? Yeah, you're not an anime guy.
Yeah, I did watch The Walking Dead, and honestly, it's moving a little slow in season 10B.
I thought there was that one guy that was carrying the show.
Oh, Negan?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does carry the show.
Yeah.
He carries the show and then some.
That's all I know about the show because
that's all you need to tune in for at this point.
You're the only person I've talked to about the show.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan carries everything. So, you need to start watching it. Not going to spoiler anything for you, but it might be one of the best television characters of all time.
It's hard though because there's 10 seasons. You know, that's like it's gonna take me
That's a
years
weekend
to watch. That's a weekend.
Some episodes are honestly skippable.
Too much filler.
Yeah.
Yeah. You would understand the filler if you were an anime guy.
Yeah.
I'm not an anime guy. I have some friends that are, and they've told me about the filler.
It's yeah. Filler content doesn't feel too good.
Yeah. The only anime I've watched was actually there was a couple. I watched Naruto and Death Note. That was it. As the Flash is gonna come in,
doesn't
he
get
tries to make that move work again. This time though, stun comes in.
The spacing is really important on it when you cast the face breaker. And then the angle, sometimes it can even be a little bit misleading. It doesn't look like you're going to pull them backwards, but you will. It's honestly something that you should, I guess, sandbox you can't really do with a friend. And then also, the hitbox of the sandbox dummy isn't always as, what? You're looking at me with eyes like, you don't know what I'm talking about. You never open up sandbox, Eldez?
Sandbox?
Sandbox mode.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the team.
No,
I was
put
really
down your
lost.
phone.
I was really lost. I was like, what are you talking about?
Get off Google.
Who from Sandbox is the dummy exactly? What are you saying, Ellis? Maybe I should have left you as the lone shoutcaster. We had a potential dive in the bottom side. Didn't really work out, but they're going to get a plate here. Yeah, they do in the end. Aiming takes a bunch of damage, though. Tom Kench, a pretty good champion, as Yukal is going to be flashed on.
Oh!
And there it is. Undertow going to take him out. And so they probably just found Yukal in transition. As Yukal and Tarzan were mirroring Kuro and Bono, they were able to just jump on him and get the kill.
And Viper and Irove, I mean, they're doing okay down in bot lane, but now Rift Herald going to be summoned by Kuro here in mid. Now, teleport is available on Renekton, so we'll probably just end up TPing onto the turret. Teleport now being used on Tushin. And I do believe that that was, what, 3 turret plates ended up going down. And so a bit of an accelerant here. 500 gold advantage for Griffin, not the end of the world. As you can see here, Yukal just trying, all he wanted to do was go back to lane. And you have to wonder what his purpose is over here in the first place anyway. Ends up dying, moves back into the Undertow. I think even if he dodges that Undertow, the second one would kill him regardless. So I think there was really no way out. He shouldn't have flashed.
Yeah, I mean, they had no vision in the river. I mean, you have to assume that they could be waiting for you there. But I suppose maybe you didn't even see the rotation down towards the bottom side. But I thought that was the main reason why they were actually mirroring them down to the bottom side. So kind of confusing there, but Yukal does go down for the second time. Now the Cloud Drake going to be focused down here by KT. Doesn't look like Griffin want to do anything about that. They're just going to let that go. It will be the Infernal Soul that does come in here.
Nice, exciting dragon. It's actually really valuable for both parties, more so KT, as it's going to give them a way to actually get through Griffin if Griffin does try stalling. Senna obviously able to utilize it so well as the cannon. See if they can eventually end up getting there. We are absolutely in a bit of a lull state. Greatly Reluctant Fighters here versus...
Can't trade with the K.
Well...
it's hard to think of anything else.
I'm trying to think.
I know that I can see the cogs working.
The cogs are absolutely...
They're not turning out
there's
much.
Not,
We haven't found anything from your side.
I'll get back to you. I'm thinking of one that really fits. You don't
Should we
want to rush
consult
it.
the collective?
The collective? Generally, you don't want to use their lifeline too much.
True.
It can end up coming back to bite you.
Okay, so I'm seeing killing time. I'm glad I consulted the collective. I mean, that's That's the best. I mean, there's really nothing better than that in this case. As they really are. They're just kind of killing time here.
Double Black Cleaver, by the way. Picked up for the Gragas, Hybrid Ezreal, and the Karma. So really great itemization here out of Griffin. I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah, okay.
As Sword, did he miss that cannon?
You know, I wasn't looking. I was looking down at the items after you foolishly drew my attention down there.
Yeah, it was all just a cruel ploy.
We don't really want to look at the items. We just want to see the action.
Yeah.
If you analyze it too much, you know.
Ah, yes.
There are definitely some people that are. But either way, here we do have Tucson and aiming coming down as Tarzan is trying to siege with Gragas. That's another episode of sad Gragas bowling.
Yeah. And this is another Rift Herald picked up now by KT. As, okay, Sword might just die here, actually.
Yeah, trying to avoid the angle of the suplex, but yeah, Sword just going to get out of there. Now Kuro making his way down. He's got 2 levels on Tarzan, and he's just kind of running by. And forces the flash out of Viper. Kind of interesting there. Viper, considering the fact that if he got dredge lines, he would have died, so. Elects for the safe play.
Quite a bit of damage coming out by Gragas. As now Viper and Irove, they're going to manage to get the turret. The Ezreal is the main focal point of Griffin's team composition in the later stages as well.
Yeah.
He's the one that's really slippery, hard to get onto. Sword does not have flash, so he can't really reach Kennen to superplex him back into the turret. Minute and a half now until the Infernal Drake does end up coming up. And we'll probably see Sword pick up magic resistance. If he picks up like a Jerome's Fist or something, I'm going to be very sad.
Oh, what? A Doran's Fist?
Jerome.
Jerome?
Isn't it called Jerome?
I heard you guys talking about this yesterday. It's Jorim.
Yeah. What?
Jaurim? Yeah,
No,
it's, like
it's not.
J-A-U-R-I-M, right?
Jerome. Jerome?
Jerome? There's no A at the end or O. It has to be Jerome.
Right.
Or
What if the I is
Jaurim.
silent? What if the I is silent?
Jorm? No I.
I never thought about
that what
this.
you're
You're
going
really
for?
actually just blowing my mind right now. Oh, this is rough. Yeah, I mean, if he starts moving towards Steric's Gauge, I got that one right.
Yeah, I think so.
I heard someone call it Stakes Gauge once. That was good.
That's pretty good. That's actually something you can imagine, like the human mind would mess up. They're like, oh, remove one letter and make it into a familiar word that you've seen many times.
Valdez, do take
Stakes
note
Gauge.
of Soan's itemization. Maybe next time you won't leave me solo casting. if you do pick that one up. As currently,
a big fan of the Haunting guys.
KT is not the only person without a victory here tonight. Valdez did lose to Morello.
That is true.
Last game.
Sad moments. I mean, maybe I'm a clone. Maybe I'm not even the same person.
Maybe, yeah.
You don't even know.
Maybe you're not even really here. Maybe they'll.
I left and I came back. You know? Is
maybe
any
you're
of this even
stuck
real?
inside of the Oblivion Orb.
Is this a dream?
Am I sleeping right now?
It could be. I don't know. There's nobody in the game that has a pinch ability. Unfortunately, yeah.
Sword looking like he's going to be able to raise this turret, but they just gave over the Infernal Dragon for no reason whatsoever.
They took out the turret that they were going to get eventually anyway.
I like the Dead Man's Plate second here by Sword as well. So the KT team composition tends to run into set already. And so the mobility that Dead Man's would grant you in getting onto the opponent doesn't really do a whole lot. And then...
Just gonna siege up here. They're gonna kill him before even the Dawning Shadows comes in, and that's just gonna be a kill under turret. Yukal saying, I should be fine, but I suppose that might have been the third time he said it. Sword just saying, I am a PvE player. I'm not the one to go and try to fight my enemy. I just want to take down the objectives.
Yeah. This is definitely a bit surprising. Let's just take a look at this. Yukal has no business defending this turret like this. And this is also the part of the game where the Renekton doesn't have a whole lot to do until the team fights really do start breaking out. Then he will be enabled. because everyone's going to be melee range and fighting, but right now, not really doing a whole lot.
He's had a rough time. I mean, he got ganked at level 1 by a Senna. Now, I don't know if the effectiveness of that gank really shone through, but he got ganked multiple times after that by Olaf and by other members on the side of KT. He hasn't had a very fun game, has UCal?
No. As Irove just casually up here in top lane, trying to maybe protect this dual master Renekton. You can see, I wonder what kind of a deck he has. Probably a rock type. You ever play Yu-Gi-Oh?
Rock type. They have rock type in Yu-Gi-Oh?
Is it rock?
I don't know.
Now I don't even know.
No, I was saying that because I have never played Yu-Gi-Oh. I was kind of a Pokemon guy into Magic, but we have them sieging the turret now. Finding objectives in between Drakes. Tucson, a pretty big boy here in the front, but Sword looking for the engage. He doesn't really find it just yet. As the cast gonna come in, they're gonna dump one already. Sword, though, is gonna get extremely low and go down. Viper still with a lot of room. They might be able to kite this down, Griffin. And finally, the slicing Maelstrom is gonna come through, but it feels a bit late as now everybody's on the run away from Griffin, who are chasing them down.
And Viper is the really scary one. Now, obviously, with the Dead Man's Plate, Viper not going to be able to get on to any more members. It ends up being a victory, though, for Griffin, in the sense that, again, even trades will benefit them more. Minute and a half until the next team fight is going to break out. Viper still has his flash available. Now, obviously, some members do have spells available as well. Sword coming in here, has the superplex, doesn't grab Soa. Instead, goes for a face breaker first, into a haymaker, into the never cast the suplex until I die.
He did right at the end.
Right at the end. Doesn't even actually manage to lift Kuro up. Slicing Maelstrom, really nice synergy there with Tushin. Devour into spitting it out back onto the Griffin members. And then, right here, there's no real point for Viper to sort of flash forward with Arcane Shift trying to get onto the Tahm Kench. It's a lot better that he save it until this team fight breaks out. Now, one of the very curious things here is Sohan, he has the ability to deal pretty insane damage to Griffin if he goes Sorkpen Boots with Oblivion Orb. Because Renekton and Ezreal, no magic resistance yet, although I do suppose that maybe he's accounting for it to come in. With the itemization, Leandre's into a Cloth Armor. I don't know if that's going to be for Seeker's Arm Guard or if he's actually just going Ninja Tabi. As 30 seconds until this team fight, 1.5 gold lead, 1,500 gold lead for KT. Doesn't really mean much at this point. Whoever wins this fight is going to be the heavy favorite.
Yeah, it really does come down to this one. And look at this, UCal and Sword behind enemy lines. I think they might have spotted UCal there. Sword still waiting in the wings. They're trying to poke him out with the Ezreal and the casks, the barrels rather, out of the Gragas.
I don't know what Sword was just doing, but did end up getting zoned out a little bit. And now the Dragon started up. UCal actually going to take quite a bit of damage, I believe, from that Infernal. Viper is getting very low on mana.
Had to flash before the fight even began. As we had a bit of a K-Ram there. Griffin trying to break the mold with a couple of guys here on the edge. But it hasn't really amounted to much just yet.
And that's really, really, really sad that Viper doesn't have his flash available now. As KT's just gonna, what was that,
they're
man?
Just trying to get on top of Viper here, and they will easily be able to. Sword just using that suplex to get out, and that should be the Infernal Drake going the way of KT. And I mean, we're gonna have to watch the replay. I don't know why he was doing that, but that is that could just be the game there, as KT now with the Infernal Drake have turned things on their heads. And now it really is anyone's game.
Valdez.
Let's just let that be the analysis of that team fight.
I wish I could speak Murloc. I mean, that would
He
probably.
kind of just did. I mean, wasn't too far off.
Okay.
I really, yeah.
I'm not even going to try to make sense of it. I think that would actually harm me physically. So, I'm not going to do that to my brain.
Yeah, you deserve better.
I do
yeah,
feel like
I really don't know. And his reward here is going to be double buff. Because they say, well, we're kind of stuck with this guy to carry. His Viper, very questionable move, for sure. Let's hope that was a one-time mistake. As that was kind of Ezreal's syndrome.
I have no idea if that was a fat finger or what. Could end. I really just can't make any sense of it. Look like.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no reason for him to arcane shift forward there. There's nothing that he's going for, you
he
know?
stood up and then burned his flash for no reason. They're positioning in mid lane for no reason. They're not going into river, and Ezreal just keeps firing out bullets, and his mana keeps going lower and lower. Use True Shot Barrage. No reason.
Yeah. It's kind of sad, too, because, I mean, he's been doing pretty well throughout the rest of the game. I mean, he was able to pick up the kill in the fight up on the top side. He had good positioning there. He's got the most farm in the game currently, but then that happens and you kind of begin to scratch your head as to what exactly, why he would do that. As now they are going to go for the Baron here with the Infernal Soul. Pretty scary for Griffin to fight them straight up. Let's see if they can pull off some kind of steal. Moving forward again, they're gonna find the Gragas, the knockup coming in here, aiming, trying to burst him down. Nearly able to there, but Tarzan is going to live. Yucal and Sword in the backline, but look at the rest of the team. They're all zoned out as Sword is trying to do it by himself. Zoan here is gonna get exhausted. Sword, nice try, but it's not going to amount to much, as the rest of your team was heavily zoned out there in the jungle.
So the only way that realistically Griffin is going to be able to come back inside of this game is via an Elder. If they do get Elder, they can still probably win. Obviously, a Baron steal would definitely be starting things off on the right foot. That'd be a bit of an appetizer if they can do it.
Up. Bottle's taking a bunch of damage.
Yeah,
He's gotta be careful.
Gonna get healed back up though by Senna.
And they decide, okay, that's going to be it. They know that Sword has TP, and with 10 seconds left, they don't want to take any 50-50s, so.
And, I mean, we just see what's happening here. Tarzan, he gets bounced down, ignited, out of the team fight. Viper, again, with the most bizarre arcane shifts. If Zoan was really coming around the wall right there, he was arcane shifting into the cannon. Sword not able to do anything. I'm not totally sure what is going on inside of this game, as I do believe Zoan going to be getting Void Staff as his next item. So honestly, some really good itemization coming out for him this game. And what make of you, Yucal, this game?
Yucal?
Yeah.
Big fan of the Renekton pick. It's really doing a lot of work here. As you can see, it's already picked up a kill.
All right.
Yeah. He's always got to be the front line, so we got to forgive him for the deaths. It's hard. It's hard being a Renekton. Gotta hand it to him. It's really doing his job this series.
Well, not a big deal, Valdez.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. Yucal getting slowed by the center right there. She has 100 souls here at 29.5 minutes. The Forbidden Book, by the way, picked up as well on Nautilus, not the champion you expect to see it on.
I wonder how he's gonna, I mean, if he gets into the backline and uses his E, maybe he can hit 2 people. that's about it. Now, Griffin have a decent amount of steal potential here. Aftershock, can it keep Kuro alive? He's taking a ton of damage on the backside. Arcane shift forward.
Oh, really good true shot.
Tarzan trying to get on in there. He's got a barrel in it, but it is going to be a good smite by the side of Bono. Going in now, but a huge devour by Tucson to save aiming as Sword is trying to get that pick off in the back line. Might just be, nope, he's
the
gonna
double
get taken
stopwatch.
down. And that's going to be the end of him. UCal also going to go down. We do have a full health Viper here, looking to kite it out.
Oh, Nautilus coming in with the home guard.
Well, he's got a stopwatch of his own, but it's not
and
quite
so right
as
now,
good.
Bono is chasing Tarzan, but he shouldn't actually kill him. He should just keep chasing him as much as he can. Ragnarok almost going to be available to give him a little boost in movement speed. Now, here comes the guessing game. You ready?
Play the music. That's Yakety Sax right there.
He's just going to keep chasing him. And now at this point, you could end up killing him, and it really wouldn't matter all that much.
Maybe the Sentinel's going to get in there. No.
Set up.
Oh, the moves! I love the accordion. Oh, he's dead now. Oh!
No, Senna.
What?
You know
Give
what?
it to aiming.
That was
to kill the Olaf.
That was very unfortunate.
Yeah. Poor Gragas. He is a sad Gragas now. Not able to steal on the Baron play.
Yeah, did not get to do that. 414, I believe, is the last number that I just saw during that smite. UCal, I mean, the Renekton not able to do a whole lot when he's this far behind. The enemy team has the Infernal, so they're chewing through him a lot faster than they should be able to. So he's getting a lot less value out of just everything that he's able to do. Viper, again, only real hope.
Elder Dragon.
Elder Dragon picked up by KT. And it does look like we are going to a game number 3, Valdez.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we needed. I mean, we only have one series today. And, you know, I want to be able to cast a bunch of games on the last day of the LCK for now. And now that they have picked up Elder, I don't see a chance here for Griffin to really stop this push, as it's Baron for 30 seconds, Elder for 2.5 minutes. Just looking to siege here. We've got an okay siege comp, not great, actually. 3 melees on their side, but they have Senna to throw out some roots and the cannon to split push, as that's going to be all 3 inhibitors going down, and we'll see if Griffin actually makes a stand here in this game.
Doesn't look like any of that is going to be possible. Tarzan gets locked up.
Yeah.
Elder's just too strong.
Yeah, there we go. Execute after execute. That is going to be the end of the 3 of them, and the end of this game. Will they reach for more? It's going to be the question. Doesn't look like they'll be able to pick off any more. Oh, they're diving. They're getting, no, they're not. They're turning around. Not quite able to kill Viper here, and down will go the Nexus GG, as KT will tie it up.
Not that it's why they lost, but it definitely was a contributing factor to their early and mid-game transitioning. That was a beautiful R5 Renekton. I really just gotta hand it to him. And in addition to that, if Set always looked like that, then I don't know. I don't know what to say. The double black cleaver really the icing on the cake there. Think gonna give the MVP. Oh, this is actually a little bit hard. This really is hard. I'm trying to think who to actually give the MVP to. There were so many players that actually contributed to this. Maybe it is just Kuro, because he mind controlled Viper to not only blow his flash but also the arcane shift.
Yeah. I feel like it was either Kuro or Bono. I feel like those were the 2 guys that actually made plays happen in this game. But pretty difficult, actually, this time around.
Yeah, I'm not.
I think I'll give it to Kuro.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Kuro.
Yeah, I think Kuro edges it out ahead of Bono there. I mean, a lot of those engages were because of him, and his Nautilus did actually look pretty good. Although the Morello on the Nautilus was a bit confusing, but we all have those games.
Well, KT now, they've managed to tie up the series.
He really looks really happy,
And
by the way.
honestly, I think that all that's happening here is the drafts overall dictating the pace of the early game is way too important between both of these teams, as we don't really see any potential saving graces. Even in a game where Griffin should have been able to stabilize come third Dragon, they planted Sword top lane, had him get 2 turrets, UCal donked off at the bottom tier 2, ended up getting clown bopped underneath it. They gave it the 3rd Infernal and thus bringing it to Soul Point, and then Viper ended up just completely throwing it away. Ezreal, 27.6k damage, is the only champion that can actually deal damage there. I don't think that that's actually reflective of the gameplay by any means, as Griffin just looked extremely lost in game number 2. KT patching it up, looking a lot more consistent and in harmony this game so on, also with some fantastic itemization.
Yeah. Think about how different that game could have looked if there was some kind of control mage in the mid lane. I feel like that could have made all the difference. So, draft coming into play as we are going to take a break before the final game of the round.
이번에 나 이거 끝낼 수 있거든. 나만 봐줘. 하나 봐줘. 그라 노플이야, 그라 노플. 하나만 쳐줘. 쳐. 이거. 오케이, 긁어부터. 세트. 세트부터. 잡았고. 저거. 죽여. 왜 안 잡냐? 앞에. 다이브. 까비. 다이브해. 걔네 들어가. 걔네 죽어. 싫어. 오케이. 아유, 그냥. 이걸 안 들어가네. 나이스. 나이스.
알겠습니다. 잠시만요. 치즈버거 세트 하나 주세요.
잠깐 손 씻고 드셔야죠. 감염병 예방의 시작은 손 씻기입니다. 올바른 손 씻기를 통해 감염병을 절반으로 줄일 수 있습니다. 이제 올바른 손 씻기 6단계로 스스로의 건강을 지키세요. 감염병 예방은 내 손으로. 올바른 손 씻기. 질병관리본부.
자, KT와
Welcome
그리핀의
to
2세트
the
대결
very final
함께했습니다.
analyst
이번에는
task
KT가
for the time being
우선죠. 뱀픽은
in
어떻게
LCK.
달렸는지 들어볼게요.
뱀픽 같은 경우는 그리핀이 조금
So,
유리하게
speaking
시작을
up
했습니다.
to
KT
draft,
같은 경우는
Griffin
무조건
had a
세나를
very
가져가겠다는
favoring
계획을
comp.
하였고 특히 바로
KT
수를 배나면서
focused
투니
on
선수가
Senna,
아쉬운
so they
세나를
banned
보여줬고,
out around that
세나
champ,
탐켄치에 대한
banning
강한
out
의지를
Kalista and
보여줬고,
Varus,
세나 주고도 일-
showing a
일-
really
일-
strong
일-
will
일-
to
일-
take that
판단을
Senna and Tom
보통
Kench.
카르마를 뽑으면서
So
굉장히 세게
Griffin
가져갔고, 하지만
went with
KT 는 우리는
Sats
틀리지
and also
않았다가
Karma
우리는
to
틀렸다.
go
하지만
strong
배웠다.
against KT
아웃에서
roster.
미드 정글을 미드 정글을 굉장히 맞춰줍니다. 전판과는 달리.
So, compared to the game number 1,
임프루빙이라고 있잖아요.
they are really improving. They're going for a very rounded up comp overall. They focused on, KT focused on their jungle, so they went with Cannon and Nautilus to kind of support Bono in jungle.
그리핀에서 세트에 대한
Griffin,
믿음이
they have a huge faith in sets, especially on sword.
뱀픽이 아니었나 그런 생각도 들고요. 그리고 또 카르마를 정말 좋아하는
And
것
also,
같아요.
they really
카르마가
prefer Karma a
어떻게 보면
lot.
이겼을 땐 잘 통했지만 이번 경기에는
Well,
또
Karma,
어떻게 보면
it
존재감이
had a
없었거든요.
really good game in game number 1, but game
전반적인
2, Karma did not do any work.
네, 하지만 경기는 조금 이제 미드에서의 상황이 많이
But game
작용을
actually
했다고
was
봐야 될것
decided in that
같아요.
fight that
저희
happened
후반
in
정도는
mid
해서 봐야 할
lane.
텐데 아무래도
Bono
네,
cleared
사실
out
이게
and ward.
이유죠.
네,
And this is the
레넥톤의
point where
존재감
Griffin
자체,
started
아니,
to
레넥톤의
lose their
챔피언
game.
자체가 사라지는 그런
This
데스
was the
장면인데,
point where
사실 이제
Renekton
보노 선수가 이전에
became like
와드를
nobody in
슈퍼를
this game.
박아주면서 제어와드를 박아주게 되면서 좀 좋은 시야를 확보하게 됐어요. 네, 그렇죠.
With that
그리핀의
ward
조합
coming
같은
from
경우는
Olaf,
바텀은 싸움이
Griffin
아닌 2대2로 밀어내는
lost
조합이고,
all the vision
미드
in
정글이
that
상대팀
jungle,
미드 정글을
and
잡아줌으로써
KT had so many vision
레넥톤의
around
역할이
blue
굉장히
buff.
중요한 역할입니다.
So
하지만
there was
레넥톤이
no
여기서
information
리셋을
for
해버리면서
Yukal
레넥톤뿐만
that there
아니라
was a
바텀에
control
대한
ward right next to the mid lane turret. So he had to just fall down to Kuro and Bono, and that's from Renekton kind of neutralized his power all throughout the game. He did ping down onto enemy missing in that jungle. However, he did not really have the precise information whether the opponents will be. So this can be a really small mistake. However, this small decision-making mistake ended up snowballing throughout the game.
아주 깔끔하진 않았다 이런 얘기들을 하시더라고요.
But the game was not really clean on the side of KT as well. After that Dragon Soul, KT should have to be in a very huge lead, but the game was really neck and neck. However, Kuro managed to kind of play with that aggro really well. Well, this was the point where Griffin had a very favoring team fight position. However, Tom Kent is so OP. He just played 4v2 by himself, and that's why KT really kind of insisted to take that Senna and Tom Kent's comp. Even though it was a 50-50 chance, Bono was really aggressive and proactive to kind of holding to that Baron taking down, and then they turned around to Griffin players.
일단 이겼으니까 이긴 건 이긴 거고 3세트를 좀 더 깔끔하게 준비하는 게
So both teams have to come back with cleaner performance and strategy for game number 3 to get that last win in LCK for the time being. So let's check out the POG in game number 2.
확실하게 차이가 났던 라인이 하나가 있기 때문에
맞습니다.
그 선수가 나오지 않을까. 개인적으로는
Kuro 선수.
Kuro in mid lane playing Nautilus because he had a huge gap up against Yukal in mid lane. 400 points so far, which is proving that he is carrying KT roster. He is doing so many work as a captain of his team as well.
구로 선수의 이제 시그니처 픽이라고 하면
Kuro's signature pick would be
쿠지는 아니고 쿠토르, 쿠블랑
Victor. Look, well, not Azir to be honest, but now Ornn and Nautilus, some of the melee and initiative champions, are also becoming one of his signature picks. Kuro has a very wide champion pool, and every time he plays Nautilus in mid lane, KT is getting more space to play in their comfort zone. Yukal these days is very underperforming, so even though he had Pantheon in game number 1, he was not outperforming, to be honest. but Viper kind of played really well. That enabled Griffin to go forward really hard, but this time around, his Renekton performance was not really well. And last time as well, when he was playing Kiana, the melee AD champion, he also had a very disappointing performance. So maybe melee AD champion is not a pick for Yuka. I hope he does his best. That's a word from Lyra. Because in game number 1, well, they knew how to answer to Senna Tompkins. However, it was not Yuka that was able to kind of give more cards up against Senna. But Mina wants to give an advice that everybody has up and down, so he will have the time to bounce back. So let's check out game number 3, KT versus Griffin.
Thank you, G-Sun, once again for the great translation of the analyst desk, as there was one unfortunate member of the Korean cast that did vote for the jungle. I was considering it too. I'm sure a lot of people were, but Kuro had the slight edge there, picks up the player of the game, and now it all comes down to this for the final game of the day. It is going to be the decider map between Griffin and KT.
Well, let's see what the pick ban is going to have in store for us. The ban pick ban pick.
Pick
like
ban
that.
pick.
The ban pick is the order.
Ban pick. Well, no, it's ban, 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 ban. And then it's pick.
I didn't
Pick,
watch the
pick.
Flintstones as a child, Valdez. Not into Bam Bam or whatever it was that you were just trying to say. Is Orn and Aphelios?
I tried to write down Orn on my paper. I wrote 3 N's. Orn.
You like that?
Yeah. I don't know. I think maybe the Morellos got to my head a little bit. As we have the same bands here on the blue side out of Griffin. KT going to mix it up a bit. They banned Zoe as the third ban in game 1. This time they're going to ban Set, as they want to see Sword on something else.
This is it, by the way, Valdez. For all the marbles, the last game, the last ban pick,
Ever.
the last first pick.
Oh! Who's going to get the last laugh last? What was that? That was...
Who's going to laugh last, yeah.
Who's going to have the last laugh
Yeah.
last? I think that's what it was.
Well, Senna,
Who's going to have that last laugh?
the last first pick is going to be Senna. This is the last Senna.
LS.
Yeah.
Oh,
I had to weave that in there.
you got there.
Yeah.
It's the last set. Not literally set, of course. As KT are going to buy into the idea that Senna Tom Kench is the OP duo, rather than just Senna, fasting Senna being the OP pick. And so they will pick away the Tom Kench. And this is kind of where we get excited about Griffin potentially punishing this.
Do you notice something? I'm gonna wait until the end of the draft, but when I point it out, it's gonna be
Okay.
like a revelation for you. As Lee Sin, yeah, much like you, he's not seeing it either.
He can't see anything. That's
He uses echolocation. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I evolved that far. Didn't quite get that far. Yeah, but Lee Sin is going to come out here. We did see Bono on the Olaf and the Elise. So a third unique pick for him.
We got a whole bunch of Sin in this game as Elise now picked up.
The last
with
Sinner.
Ezreal. And so we're not actually going to have fasting Senna, and this is so bizarre
Well, let's
to see, especially because Viper, it is Ezreal. It was a bit of a performance. It was something.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought maybe they were hovering it for mind games about, aiming and his Ezreal. And that could be another point that we can talk about. Maybe they want to deny it away from aiming, whilst also getting it for their bottom lane.
And so now Varus Tom Kench is being hovered. Varus able to also go mid lane, and remember, he has multiple modes. You can have the attack speed Varus, you can have the Comet Varus, you can have the lethal tempo lethality Varus.
Whoa.
You can have it your way. As we are now in...
Isn't that Burger King?
I'm loving it. But second ban phase is underway now. Pantheon gonna end up biting the dust. They take that away against the Elise. As Griffin now, they need to decide what they want to ban away, but mid and top pools are still just so wide open. They're probably gonna end up banning generic dual flex picks, so Rumble gets banned away. They need a champion. They need to ban away a champion that can actually threaten the long range on Griffin. Maybe they actually do just ban Azir. As weird as that is.
That is weird.
Zoe is another potential ban.
Yeah, and they've banned it before. But you know who really made
they
waves?
They would like Zoe. If you're Griffin, you're the ones that actually want to get your hands on Zoe. So the Nautilus ban is maybe a protection against that. Chains of Corruption plus Nautilus lockdown. Oh man, we're all sinning. There's a lot of sinners.
You know that show Real Monsters? It's like trucks.
Oh, you meant on 4? He was about to be locked in.
What? You lost me there. Kennen 10 and 3. He's doing pretty well.
Yeah, they didn't end up locking in, and instead chose to go with the Kennen. And Maokai being hovered yet again. I don't know if we'll end up seeing him now. There is a
yes.
Okay, so there's a Maokai player on Korea that ever since the changes has really skyrocketed in LP.
Wow.
And he's a one trick. I think he's
it's
a
weird
streamer.
Because I feel like Maokai would normally be very
Maokai
very
is very
rooted.
strong.
Very
rooted? Okay.
Because you said skyrocketing, so you know. He's a tree, get it? He's got roots.
Well, I said skyrocketing because I was just trying to show you the Azir pick coming in.
Okay.
You know? Now, they have the perfect polarity here in their team composition. They have the roots from Maokai, and they have the sky from Azir. All right.
And we have
in Vel'Koz,
science.
We have a lot of purple. And take a look at KT's team composition right now on your screen.
That's some really hard-hitting
What do you
analysis.
Notice?
We got a lot of purple, guys. Oh, this is it's a big deal here. Lots of purple.
With all of the knowledge that Vel'Koz has, okay, he sought out Varus, who told him to seek the rat Kennen, okay, who then brought them to the blind monk, who then led them to the oversized catfish. Now take a look at Tom Kench's splash art.
Yeah, yeah.
They're going to the ship.
They're going to the ship. It's all coming together now in the last game. I think you found all the pieces.
And that is why the Blitzcrank, I hope I just pronounced that right, is present on the side of Griffin, so they can control both the ground and the skies as they try to stop the ship from departing here.
They don't have control of the seas, so they got to take everything else, right?
That's what they need. That's the one thing they're missing.
I think you might be onto something here. Let's hope you can hop onto that last ship and get out of here real quick after that.
It's going to be really interesting. Kennen, Lee-Sin, Vel'Koz in all his glory, Varus, and Sir Thomas at the very end. I'm imagining that's going to be the lethal, or it's going to be the lethality Varus, and this is going to be a very heavy pull comp.
Looking forward to it. Big fan of the big numbers we saw from that game number 1 as Maokai is going to make his way.
And that reminds me that Travis still not letting Kobe have the cat. Okay, I see that you're not up to date with the Twitter lingo, and I apologize for thinking that you were a bit younger than you were, maybe.
No,
But
no, but actually,
you can use Twitter on your phone.
You know what's interesting? trying to deflect the attention away from that is that I feel like Twitter is like a boomer thing. You know what I mean?
What?
Like boomers use Twitter. And then all the Zoomers, they use like Instagram and TikTok.
This is gonna be Glacial Augment. Oh god. I actually just started using Instagram recently.
You just started, huh?
I actually
You're a little behind the eight ball there.
I really.
You gotta be careful. I mean, you never know when somebody's gonna throw that B word out at you if you're saying stuff like that. What about TikTok?
TikTok, I don't use that. That's where Weird
okay.
Champ resides most likely.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think Weird Champ is like the only cast that has that?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Probably for good reason.
The only one that advertises it, at least.
And in this game, the Vel'Koz, he is going Glacial, and he'll have the Glacial Augment, or he'll have all of the Glacial items most likely. So we'll see that the GLP 800, we'll see the Twin Shadows, and then we'll probably see Vel'Koz rounding it out, depending on what the enemy builds with some other items. Bono, he's sinning right now.
Ooh, he actually got that slowdown.
Yeah, he got the heal out, and okay, well, now, he's respecting that Elise could actually be at the brush, and that's why you don't see Bono pursue, even with the red buff, doesn't want to just get cocooned and then waste the flash, although I think there's an argument to actually be had that UCal doesn't have teleport available, and as long as he wouldn't end up dying, because UCal's only level 1, so Elise wouldn't be able to kill Lee Sin through his potions, most likely. Maybe there's an actual thing to look at there where he should just chase.
I mean, Elise at level 2, right? I mean, he's not going to be level 3 until he picks up that second buff, which he wouldn't have at that timing. So, can a level 2 Elise actually kill you? I think the answer is absolutely no. It's an interesting idea. It's where tiny little edges can be won or lost in this game of League of Legends. It's been 693 days since the last time we saw Maokai. It was Keen in a loss against Khan.
Yeah.
In the spring finals of 2018.
Well, Maokai is very strong with the Bomby Cinder changes. Once he gets the Sunfire Cape, it is pretty scary, but I mean, he's been good since before then, and he's such a great pick at getting onto the Cannon and the Vel'Koz here. Obviously, Sir Thomas going to be able to eat up whoever he does try to eat. Now, one of the really cool things here, though, is you'll notice that much like in game number 1, what is Elise's purpose here? What's she trying to do? You don't know?
Yeah,
Wait,
I'm thinking about it.
I don't think anyone knows what she's trying to do in this team comp.
I thought for a while, and I couldn't really think of anything. She can pick. She has a cocoon. And it's funny because I feel like a lot of games where Elises get behind, we see a lot of, well, yeah, this is just a rainbow kitty cat in the brush. But we see a lot of Elises behind be described as just a cocoon.
Yeah, that's all that she is.
But even
there's
in
so
this
many
case,
better
she's not behind.
champions.
But she's already...
No, she is behind. Because she's not ahead, she's behind.
Yeah.
And the champion's going to end up being relegated to essentially only casting cocoons, and then she's not going to deal any damage because, of course, opponents are going to have magic resistances at later stages in the game. Of course you will against Ezreal, Azir, Elise, Maokai. You'd be a complete fool not to. And given the long range on all of KT, it's even harder for Elise, and if she does end up going in, she's not going to do anything. Double control ward picked up, as realistically, she's only going to be a ward bot. Let me take a look at the draft, actually. She came in really early on again, and it just doesn't make any sense. The enemy already had Tahm Kench, and they had Elise in, so the cocoon already has less value. And you don't know what else the opponent's going to draft around. And it's very easy for them to draft in a way that would make Elise very vulnerable. But then when you pair it with the Maokai as well as the Azir, it just ends up being a question of what are you really doing? We saw this in Game 1. We're seeing it again here in Game 3. It's always a pleasure to watch the Elise be completely useless.
You know what I think is a likely early item in this game for the Elise? Morello. even though they will be building a lot of magic resist on the side of KT. Already Merc Treads completed here for the cannon up in the top side. No doubt Tucson's going to have a bit. There are 3 squishies there towards the middle with the Vel'Koz, the Varus, and the Lee Sin. But if Eamon can keep them at range, kind of like how Viper did in Game 1, with his immense poke with the lethality, it'll be hard to see Elise really even getting in range to land the Cocoon onto one of those squishies.
And we already have MR coming out on So
yeah.
The value inside of ganks, even though Maokai has beautiful gank setup, with the twisting advance into the sapling toss, as well as the knockback, which name I am blundering on. Do you know?
Knockback.
The knockback. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Perfect, yeah. So, with all of that,
it's the official name.
It really is pretty easy to set things up, but gonna definitely be difficult here. Tarzan just continuing to perma-farm endlessly.
He's got to scale up to his Merlinomicon first. You know he's going to be building that. We'll see, though, as, yeah, it's all just farming in the mid lane and in the jungle and in the top and bottom lanes. All the lanes coming together. One big farming family. No real plays have been made just yet. I suppose Bono went for a very early Infernal Drake, which was nice for him to pick up.
This is all winning for KT. They got an Infernal Dragon early. It looks like they're going to get an Ocean Dragon. And the only thing that you can hope for at that point is that...
Oh, trying to bait him in here. Sword is going to have to flash away. We'll get to safety with that flash. So Bono not able to make that gank happen.
And now we can even see that it's just so hard to move Maokai. Sword's actually going to be ahead in CS if he manages to get all of this. Bono now starting up the Rift Herald. Scuttle Crab eating some fruit, actually. Just taking a little... Okay.
He disappeared there for a second. Maybe we were on red vision.
And this is really scary. Tushin, though, rotating up. There is...
Okay.
The root?
Yeah,
What is Sword? Sword? I don't think Vel'Koz wanted to download whatever it was that Sword was just dishing
Just
out.
downloaded the virus, man. You got to be careful about that. That's pretty unfortunate. And we've seen that many times before where Sword kind of goes in alone and looks a bit disconnected from his team. And after his last performance, honestly, he was like the carrying the last time they were playing, or he was at least the better performing player out of the team, even though they did get 0-2. But from today, once again, it feels like he's returned to some of his old techniques, which have not been super successful, as we'll see it again here. He's on vision.
So he sees everything that's going on. He voluntarily twisting advanced in, and this is actually one of the strengths of Vel'Koz and all of his intellect as a champion, able to telepathically mind control the Maokai, who is just simply a tree born to life, into twisting advancing on right there. And so honestly, a fantastic job on Akuro with that telepathy.
These players are more powerful than you know. And, yeah, I mean, that's going to net a kill for Kuro, who, by the way, his stats were pretty impressive on the Vel'Koz. 6-2, 13.4 KDA. The guy knows what he's doing on this champion. It's not just a random pick that they threw out here to add some poke or something like that. So it'll be interesting to see if he can bring this early lead into something more here in this game. He's already moved quite far ahead, about 20 CS. After the Azir gets to the mid lane, ahead of the Azir.
And, you know, on the upside, though, Sword is doing a really good job, at least in the CS department, against Soan up here. That cat looks so cool, by the way, in the brush.
Yeah, it's a powerful cat.
It looks like a holographic Pokemon card or something.
Yeah, it kind of does. Like a
Mew.
Kind of like a Mew, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking Meow.
Oh, yeah, sure.
He missed the cannon to go for that trade. It's unfortunate. Yep. We lost our cat, too. She saw that, and then she decided, well, I've had enough. Don't want to get too toxic, but, you know, it's been a couple of interesting decisions so far, as the poke already coming out here from Kuro, and they're looking to rotate over to the Ocean Drake. As TP available on Soan, not so much for the side of Maokai.
Yeah, and Sword with another trade onto Soan. He's still ahead in XP, by the way. He's like level 9.2? 9.25 maybe? And Soan's still stuck at level 8, so definitely a bit surprising. Soan did just ding level 9 though, so Sword is, I would say, almost maybe what, 0.4, 0.5 levels ahead. Very surprising. More magic resistance coming out for Sword on the Maokai. So it will be a while until he ends up getting... Oh, man.
Nice play out of Bono. Made it look really smooth, too. Ward hop into flash behind and kick. I don't know if he was actually in range for the kick flash. I'll have to see the play once again. But either way, extremely clean out of Bono making this Lee Sin. Looked like not much of a sinner. More of like a Lee song here.
Yeah.
Singing us a nice little song. Yeah, Lee Saint.
Lee Saint.
Still LS.
Le Saved. Le Salvation is going on.
Last
I think that's
savior.
actually where the ship brings you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. You might be right, but nobody really knows where the ship brings you. There's no solid evidence. So I don't want to space it off a fate.
They actually made a television series about the ship.
Yeah.
It's called Lost. You never really quite know where you're going on that one. Is KT is
How did he know he was exactly there?
Another Ocean Dragon, and they're just so far ahead right now. It's almost a 4,000 gold lead for KT. Better team composition, vision restriction due to the Umbral Glaive first.
Yeah, it was
really
kick
nice.
Flash, or no, flash kick.
Nice. Marong even looking happy in the back. Had his coat on. I think he's ready to go to the ship as well. He's all packed up. He's ready. As Twin Shadows is going to be the second item for Kuro. And if you are unfamiliar with the Glacial Synergy items, it just makes champions who already deal obscene amounts of damage, or sometimes even true damage, depending on what it is. Most notably, Vel'Koz and Charles are really good Glacial item users. It just helps them control the flow of fights with their already obnoxious terrain morphing due to the nature of their abilities and just CC that they're able to bring. It just augments them so well. It's so much better than traditional AP items. Their low cooldowns, their spammable abilities, and how much impact that can end up being granted with it.
Yukal actually having trouble keeping up with Vel'Koz's wave clear. You can see Kuro is going to get first roam nearly every single time. So he's here on time. KT moving as a squad. Soan waiting down on the bottom side, clearing out the Krugs. And just waiting to see if they're going to pick up the Rift Heralds here. Does respawn for now after they used it down on the bottom side. Bono looking for another clean play. See if he's got it. There's the kick, and there it is. As easy as that. Got a Tom Kent's. They drop aggro. It just does not matter, as flashing forward was aiming. Looked like it did go wide there. As Tarzan also did flash away as Irove nearly dies. Svarish just eats support Senna for breakfast.
Yeah. KT just continuing to accelerate further and further ahead. They're going to get Shirley here. Vel'Koz going to recall. Another really cool thing about these items is they're all very cheap. So very fast breakpoints are able to be met. Now on the recall, interestingly, actually doesn't pick up a Fiendish Codex, just getting more utility. So really big kick right into the pit. And then Lee Sin went to the ship.
Yeah.
Came back out, not sure if he's even the same man anymore.
The ship changes you, let me tell you.
It really does.
I've been. It's for better or for worse. Lee Sin experiencing there. We didn't get to see the follow-up, the flash out of aiming. He knows his damage ranges are pretty insane. So if you can flash and catch his squishy off guard, you might just be able to 100-0 them. So I was looking for that onto Tarzan. Mountain Soul, by the way, coming up here.
Mountain coming up in 1.5 minutes is also just fantastic for KT. For a team composition that wants to basically just sort of sit back and keep poking you, and once you're low enough, then the Kennen pulls the trigger and goes in. Once he's granted access, then Mountain is so perfect for them. Even though the Vel'Koz and the Varus won't really get any resistances, it does make them a little bit tankier if you do manage to get onto them. Although the majority of the damage that comes out of Griffin is magic, so typically champions don't have a lot of magic resist compared to their armor. A little bit less valuable, as I mean, this is just really nice. It's really nice to see Varus also starting to have his rise back to power in the LCK. Obviously, Aphelios and stuff are still very, very strong. We're not seeing Misfortune today.
Yeah.
As more poke, more siege, and greatly reluctant fighters are...
Oh, boy. How would you want to fight into that? I mean, the Azir basically doesn't exist just like that, although Aiden did take a healthy chunk of damage himself. But it's kind of methodical here. It's very much, you know, step by step for KT. Take one objective, move, take a turret, do it again, get a pick, take a turret,
do it again.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. We're gonna have the Mountain Dragon. I mean, Griffin, they would not be wise to take this team fight. They could wait a little bit longer, wait for Ezreal to try to complete his Trinity Force, wait for second item, or wait for the recipe item on the Azir. Taking this team fight would not be a wise decision. Sword is up a level. Now, if they could find some sort of a miracle engage or just delete Vel'Koz immediately, then it would probably end up being fine. It looks like they're going to try to attack from the south, but this is going to give KT a phalanx, so it's very awkward to coordinate.
Sword's just going in there and hoping that his team will back him up, as he is incredibly tanky after all, but he is going to get downloaded and deleted on the backside. Someone told him to go, and he pressed the go button. Now looking for a play onto Soan. They're looking to trade it back, but he has flash. Yeah. That does mean that he can get away.
Then he lightning rushes away. Kuro has teleport available. Probably going to get Twin Shadows and recall back in. Yeah, and that's exactly what he's doing, taking the recall ward spot in his blue side jungle. And this is going to allow KT to maintain the phalanx. Griffin can't approach from this angle. Vel'Koz, too strong of a champion. Really happy to see it come out. It is such an underappreciated champ, but it's so hard to pilot.
Yeah, it truly is, but a guy like Kuro can do it. Trying to shift forward and get the engage there on a Kuro. Sword.
That was a multi-man sapling toss. And Soan can't find an angle in. Lots of... Whoa!
Say goodbye to your jungler. He's now got to go behind the
Sword
pit.
is trapped.
Yeah. He TP'd in, and, well, perhaps that wasn't the one, as somehow the Ezreal also died there on the backside. Just got deleted by Soan. It's looking pretty down in the dumps for this game number 3 for Griffin. So they're not feeling pretty good. They're actually getting perfect aimed right now. No turrets, no drakes, no kills. And KT are looking to continue their winning streak. Remember, 3 games in a row, 3 matches in a row. Could go to 4.
This might be a perfect game.
Might just be.
And this would be... What? I don't even know. The 4th? In LCK?
3rd or 4th?
I think it's going to be... The 4th potential perfect game here.
Yeah, we've had so many already. I mean, it's only the first round.
This is we're averaging almost 1 a week.
Yeah, that's insane.
That really is insane. All things considered.
Oh yeah, Thomas
take
that for his own.
Taking the crab to the ship.
Yeah.
As Sword, again, tries to go. No one can approach. Soan with Slicing Maelstrom will just axe them off.
Yeah.
Like a Venn diagram in this team fight if they tried to approach. And Yukal, he tries to get something done, but no one's there to follow up. Soan manages to flash Sword, trapped inside of the pit. And right here, I mean, Twisting advances, Soan just finds a kill as well. This game is all but over.
Yeah.
As they're going. They're going to the ship.
They're going to the ship. Thomas Kent, he's got his hands on the wheel.
Yeah.
He's bringing him there, man. Captain is no longer Kuro. Tucson's showing him what's up. And with this poke comp, if you get Baron, it's pretty ridiculous what you can, you can do when you have Baron and you're sieging a turret. It's so hard for the enemy team to get even close.
Almost 10,000 gold lead at 22 minutes. This is absolute annihilation.
Yeah.
As the Blitzcrank not really working out here for Griffin.
No. It turns out having a strong navy is actually the best. It's actually the best thing to have. I mean, look at the British. They were really successful for a really long time. So just take note. And so did Tom Kent. Let's bring them all to the ship. Getting on there, we got battle cruisers.
Well, it does look like okay.
Trying to engage now with Sword, a bit of desperation, trying to wombo combo with it, but he's gonna get deleted eventually. Goes down.
They just can't even approach.
Yeah, they can't even get close.
The Phalanx can't really be penetrated with how far behind Griffin is. And Vel'Koz, he will just, I don't even know.
Well,
evaporate everyone.
Out of mana now. Viper thinking they were gonna retreat. That was not what they were deciding on doing. Until just now. They're gonna take out 2 inhibitors and back. It's still pretty early on in the game. They wanna back away with the insane amount of gold they must have in their pockets right now. I wouldn't be surprised if everybody's got like 2,000, 3,000 after that massive push. Go back, spend your gold, and move down, control the Drake, pick up Dragon Soul, and then win the game.
Let's take a look at the sapling toss into the team. No one is near Sword. And also, Yukal gets locked up. Yukal can't enter the fight. Nothing is possible in this engage. And again, Vel'Koz will just disintegrate anything that tries to walk near them. As Rabadon's Death Cap gonna be the 3rd item. And this is what we were talking about, that typically you pick up the glacial items and then you adapt relative to what is happening inside of the game. Death Cap gonna be fantastic for pushing, as well as just overall synergy with Vel'Koz's kit.
You can see Griffin are going to make one last
great
stand.
Mask on the side of Soan.
Yeah, looks like some players are learning slowly. Soan looking to flank here. Kind of an interesting bind they've got Griffin in. It's kind of like they herded them into the jungle, and they're saying, let's get poked by us. Now the hard engage does come in, but kicked out of the team. Yukal gonna totally miss on the Emperor's Divide, but the Sand Turret is gonna come up here. Sun Turret is going to save them for now, save their lives, but it won't save the Dragon Soul from going the way of KT.
KT now with the Dragon Soul, the next fight is just gonna be that much easier. And honestly, the Emperor's Divide, it was like in the movies when the commander tries to tell like soldiers to advance, and they're like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, we're gonna desert now. Not a part of this army anymore.
Take a look here. Yukal summons the Sand Turret, and I think Yukal was trying to push Sword away.
Oh, that's too mean.
That was the only target.
So he got locked up by Chains of Corruption, so he was rooted, and he was like, just get the enemy away from me. And I think that was, I mean, it's really the only saving grace, right? Did not look good for sure. Big whiff as it's kind of funny how they kill that blue every single time with Tom over the wall. And Tom is so good in these comps as well. You think he needs another nerf?
No. People need to pick correctly.
No, I think we need to nerf Tom again.
All right.
There was no Devour. Griffin witnessed. No, I can't even say that without laughing. Well, Baron's up here in 3 seconds.
There is a world in which Griffin does win. And the way that would end up happening is if all of the computers do break simultaneously.
Oh, okay.
Chrono break not available. We don't have any spares backstage, and a rematch ends up happening due to some questionable voting.
Okay.
We could get a forced rematch. And
due to some bad pathing?
Due to some bad pathing.
Yeah.
Due to the prison guards that are guarding the PCs.
Yeah, oh, okay. Makes sense. The prison guards guarding the...
Yeah, I'm not really sure why they would be.
Are we actually in a prison? Is that what's going on? Well, they're going to just take the Baron here. There's no real way for Griffin to do anything. Maybe True Shot Barrage would be the only way. He doesn't even have it available. And down it will go. Gonna smite that just in case.
It's really looking like we will get another perfect game, Valdez.
Yeah.
Unless everyone goes all in on trying to kill one member. I think that's probably going to be all that she wrote. Also, Tarzan with the Oblivion Orb pickup against Mountain Drakes and champions that already had magic resistance. Bit inefficient there. There's not really too much to talk about. We are just waiting for the inevitable push.
I told you he wanted to build Morel and Omicron.
Dread it, run from it. The ship still arrives.
Yeah, we don't have any dragons on the side of Griffin, so you can't burn the ships from the sky, even though they do have air control. And yeah, I mean, the entire jungle is going to be taken away from the side of Griffin. We got this nice little red line that's following Bono through the jungle. Okay, there you go. Going to be taken away as it's targeting the minions.
KT actually just taking this slow as possible. Teleport going deep by Maokai. Here it comes.
That's going to be a slow advance there. I feel like it was a little bit off target, actually. Here comes Bono from behind. He's chasing down Viper, slicing Maelstrom into the background as Yukal not able to do anything there in the back by himself. Tarzan going to survive. That's basically all he's done in this game is exist. And the double kill is going to go the way of Kennen, aiming, able to kite down the Maokai. Viper, he's looking to add some damage to his damage score.
Oh, I think they're going to go for him. Oh,
get him! Oh. You're going to the ship.
He's going to the...
Come with me. You must go to the ship.
Oh, to be continued in round 2 of the LCK.
That's where we go to the commercial break. It ends there. You guys don't get to see how that one ended up.
That's the cliffhanger.
Yeah.
For round 2.
You never know if he got to go to the ship. Thomas actually chased him down.
Okay, well, I'm gonna give the MVP to the Vel'Koz that game.
Okay.
As he made it pretty impossible. I know that Bono is probably gonna get it just for the early game, but
yeah, you know,
he could have also
voting for him.
He could have achieved no kills and still would have won the game just because of the nature of the team composition. And I think that the Vel'Koz pick, as well as how it was piloted at certain points, was just really good. It was an integral part to why they were able to win. I'm trying to convince you.
I did not listen. I did go for the Bono pick. Vel'Koz was good. Obviously, Kuro's Vel'Koz is always going to be on point. But I do think that Bono had quite the pop-off game on the Lee Sin. So I'm going to give that to him. Hirai is already giving them some coaching before they even get back to the team house to this, to go over the VOD. And whatever they've been doing, KT, has been working. They're on a 4-game win streak. They've turned things around. Game 1 was a bit of a fluke. I think they got caught out by that lethality Varus a lot. And especially the poke bot lane with the double Arcane Comet with the Karma.
Yeah.
And that really just put them
Varus
too far behind, and
really,
then they were able to adjust pretty well against Griffin.
He just had such a nice resurgence in the LCK recently, and I hope that we do continue to see him overseas as well. I think he has flexibility in mid lane depending on certain matchups. There's also the mix-up that he can do with his runes. He doesn't always need to go Comet. It really depends on what you're trying to achieve. Overall, just really nice game number 3 for KT. Very big draft win. And Elise just getting pulverized today.
We had, I feel,
in very off-theme comps.
3 picks, Elise and then Renekton and then Elise. That 3 games in a row, it came in and we were just like, you know that face that you can make in the chat?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not an emote, but it's like the little, yeah. You know what I'm talking about. That's how he felt when we saw those picks, especially the red 5 Renekton pick.
Yeah, the R5 Renekton
was I don't know, I'm still scratching my head on that one. Maybe if he didn't get so far behind in the early game, but even then, I mean, against what he was going up against,
he has some viability against the enemy team comp because they're all melee and on top of him, but it's still just not as good as other picks, and that's the problem with it. It's like when you're trying to build like a trading card game deck and you don't have the best cards and you sort of like fill in something that's sort of on theme, but
yeah, it's like a decently
you still
high
lose
tier
to the
card.
guy that has the tier 1 deck.
Yeah. You kind of have that like uncommon that's not really
yeah.
played. It's like the budget version of what you really want to
Yes,
play.
yes.
Yeah. And it's kind of what he looked like in that game, that Renekton.
And honestly, Sword, I don't know what he was doing this game, and it might feel like we're being very negative towards him. We're literally just narrating the play. There's nothing excusable about it. He had absolute vision every single time that he did things like this right here. You don't tell me that he can't see the champions and his teammates, because he absolutely can. This has nothing to do with just Maokai. What is he doing? It could be any player. It could be Faker.
Yeah.
On this, it just wouldn't matter. It is so perplexing. Now, obviously, in this highlight, they've already lost the game.
Yeah.
There's no coming back from this point. Just clearly getting tilted, probably emotionally influenced, or emotions influencing some of his decisions. Just a really slow and steady execution, as it was really KT just destroying Griffin in this game 3. And I think that between these two teams, the draft actually is really, 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 really important.
Oh, yeah.
When teams are somewhat similar, I think, in skill level, draft is going to be that much more meaningful.
테라드가 어디 있는지만 봐도
I can see
엄청 길어도 이거
teleport.
할만해.
야,
여기
여기
괜찮아.
Okay, he's behind us, he's
괜찮아.
behind us.
괜찮아, 괜찮아.
맞았어.
It's okay.
마우부터.
앞으로 보다, 앞으로 보다, 앞으로
Get
와.
Maokai first.
아지로 빨리,
Azir, no flash.
아들 잡았어?
I got Azir, no flash. Maokai.
그냥 집 가자, 이거 끝내자.
Let's go into their base, let's end.
I believe the official translation is let's go to the ship.
Yeah.
There at the end, he said, let's go to the ship. And
Does he want to die?
they did.
Oh, I think he said, do you want to die?
난 킬에 연연하지 않는다.
간다.
킬에 연연하러
I'm going to.
이거 누가 끝냈어?
It's like, who hit the Nexus? Who was it?
KD에도 빵땡이고 10등이구만.
Kuro is not happy. Wow. At the end there, that
So,
they hit the Nexus.
the Varus has an insane damage number
Yeah.
in this game. Dealt more than almost more than all of his teammates combined. So really close.
Yeah, and he's like 2,000 behind.
But we'll see who ends up actually getting the MVP. I feel like there's an argument for Bono. I voted for Kuro, and
is there an argument for aiming?
yeah,
or is
well,
he just number 3?
I think he's number 3. Like, he did so much damage, but so many things are actually set up and manipulated by Vel'Koz.
Yeah.
So,
And Lee Sin. Let's make a list of the things that Bono did. He took Infernal, and he took Rift Heralds.
well, I'll do you one better. Kuro Mind Control Sword.
True, actually, that was more impressive. If you're able to mind control your enemy teammate or player, it's pretty good stuff. But we are going to see in a couple of
Surprised
seconds.
the Men in Black aren't even just coming into the studio.
It is going to be Bono picking up his first player of the game, 1-0 and 6. Not a lot of damage, but doesn't really show what he did in the early game. 100% kill participation for all of it, but to be fair, there weren't that many kills in the early game. But he did set up a lot of the map plays. He got the gank down here after getting 2 objectives already. He was able to turn this into pushing the bottom lane, getting the turret. And then same thing here, he opens up, kills the Azir, allows them to push much easier. And he was kind of a very important part of the poke comp, actually, because he took out and made those squishy members of the enemy team vulnerable.
Yeah. So, they ended up winning this game. KT going to be feeling very good. I believe Griffin is in last place at the end of this.
You know? They might be.
I do believe that they...
Well,
I have it over here somewhere.
check our sheets quick.
Leak sheet.
Well, Sandbox and APK are 2 and 7. Griffin now 2 and 7. So there's 3 teams at 2 and 7. How
And
is the
we're gonna-
indicator? Oh,
Yeah.
there we go. Griffin in 10th place. 5 losses in a row. So they were 2 and 2 and looking okay. I remember that they were there in like 5th place or something, and ever since then, it's just been a landslide of defeats straight in a row. So pretty unfortunate to see for Griffin and their fans that they're not able to put it together so far here.
And honestly, this Griffin, it's not flying high anymore. This one has been roosted.
It was roosted?
That's a word.
Or it roosted? I think roost is like a self
Roost is a verb.
inflicting verb. You know what I mean? Like I roosted.
What if you get mind controlled by Vel'Koz?
Then I mean it's not really in your control, right? So guys, I don't think we actually have that much time because there's no interview, there's no other match today. If you're joining right now,
We don't know when we'll be back.
Yeah, you might be surprised, but because of the coronavirus epidemic right now, we are pausing for now at the end of round 1. We've done 45 matches. We have 90 total for each split. So we have 45 more.
Wow. That's
And,
actually, yeah.
Yeah. So when we come back, hopefully that'll mean that we'll start round 2 and then finish round 2 straight into playoffs. And not sure exactly how that's going to work, if we're going to have exactly the same format. Obviously, so many details to be worked out, but thanks for joining us for now. We will see you the next time we come back, whenever that is. Check Twitter. We'll let you know. Until then, good night.